resolution urging the government inter alia to consider amending the constitution to introduce a new article 21B guaranteeing free and compulsory early childhood care and education ECCE, including nutrition, health services and pre-primary learning for all children aged 3 to 6 to work towards universal access to quality ECCE through strengthened Anganwadi services or any other appropriate mechanism, and to take suitable measures to further improve delivery systems, training and support structures essential for holistic early childhood development and lifelong learning. Sudha ji.
Sir, I move the resolution. Thank you, sir, for giving me an opportunity.
Please speak on this.
Hello. Hello.
आप इस पे बोलें, please.
Thank you, sir, for giving me an opportunity to talk on this most important subject. I want to congratulate all our sisters in Anganwadi workers who are working and giving yeoman service and contributing to our country, particularly in rural area of India. Anganwadi scheme has completed its 50 years golden jubilee. Happy golden jubilee. Let me talk a little bit about Anganwadi centers, sir. In 1975, ICDS, Integrated Child Development Scheme, was developed to look after pregnant women, lactating mothers, and children between the age of 0 to 6 years. Basically, it was a form of ECCE, Early Childhood and Care Education. It continued for a long time in a buffer zone, taking care of malnutrition. A big change came in 2002. Under the leadership of our Prime Minister, then our Prime Minister, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, he took a major step with 86th Amendment of our Constitution. This led to all children born in our country having a fundamental right to free and compulsory education between the age group of 6 to 14. And also, Article 45 was amended and created a DPSP, Directive Principle of State Policy for ECCE. Sir, education is a magic wand. Whomsoever it touches, their life will change. Everything is possible with education. It makes a person's different destiny. It improves the society. It also contributes to the country's economy if you are educated. Nobel laureate Dr. James Hackman once said, if you give 1 rupee, invest it in the quality, early childhood education, it will lead 13 times more to the economy of the country. So data shows if you invest 1 rupee in the hard infrastructure, it also grows, it also improves the country's economy, but it is only 2.3 times. That only shows the importance of early education to our children. In 2018, our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji revamped and expanded ICDS to Poshan 1.0. This was the most important work because it started initiating the digitalization of the Poshan tracker. This enabled monitoring and strengthening of Anganwadi worker center service. It was a massive work. It was not easy because our country is large. It was launched started in 2018, but it was completed, application was completed in 2021. I want to congratulate the Ministry of Women and Children Department for their hard work, which has been a great success. In 2001, Poshan 1.0 was further revamped, and it was called Mission Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0 for integrated, holistic development of the child and nutrition. It has 2 divisions. One is Saksham Anganwadi, which gave more importance to infra development, and Poshan 2.0 providing to take home rations to lactating mothers pregnant women and children between the age of 0 to 3. It also gave healthy snacks, healthy lunch. Doctors say, with their research, that it's very important first 1,000 days when a mother conceives and the child grows up, it comes to 2 years, 3 months. They are the crucial days where the mind and the body develops. And taking care of that, Government of India has done a fantastic work giving lactating mothers, pregnant mothers, this taking ration home. In 2023, Government of India came with a new campaign, PB, Poshan Bhi or Padai Bhi, which is a very beautiful line actually, which gives a uniform training to all Anganwadi workers all over India, and this scheme is valid for 2023 to 26. Until that, every state used to have their own scheme. Some people will hire an NGO, some people have their own way of tackling the problems. Now there is a steady, systematic Anganwadi worker training. In 2024, Ministry of Women and Child Development introduced two curriculums. One is Navachetana for 0 to 3 years. Other one is Adarsh Chila between 3 and 6 years. This curriculum provided Anganwadi workers to monitor the development of a child, organize preschool activities, and many more things. Sir, I want to give some analysis of the importance of ECCE. NEP 2020 notes that it is important that children receive good education between 3 to 8 years. During that period, children's cognitive, motor, socio-emotional skills will develop very well. NEP 2020 also tells that it is between up to age 6, your brain, 85% of your brain will develop. Sir, let us now look at some numbers. According to me, according to the statistics, in 2021 estimation, there are 16.1 crore children between the age of 0 to 6 years. That means it is 11% of our population. Sir, our portion portion tracker notes that there are 3.5 crore children, but between the age gap of 3 to 6 years attend Anganwadi centers. Additionally, there are 4 more crore children who are benefited by these schemes. There are a few well-off people in our country. Their children will go to private schools, and I'm not talking about that. I'm standing here on the behalf of all those remaining children here, sir. Where do they go? When it is a 16.1 crore and 3.5 crore plus 4 crore negligible well-off people who will go to school, where are the remaining children? Where will they go? They don't come to Anganwadi, then where will they go? Probably they are going. They may be rowing on the dusty roads in the rural area. Or they may be accompanying their parents in a dangerous working places like railway tracks, etc. Or they may be playing somewhere without any supervision. And I care for those children. I stand here, sir. As Anganwadi education is not compulsory, these children are always neglected because the method is, the rule is 6 to 14, so nobody bothers between 3 to 6. There are many reasons for that. Number one, parents are normally, these are the people who are not well off, who are working. They are not even aware of the importance of Anganwadi education between 3 to 6, where your brain develops, where you get nutritional food, where you have preschool activities. They are not even aware of it. Second one, they may not even have a time to think about it because they are so busy in making both ends meet for their livelihood. They say they don't even think. Number 3, anyway, they have an attitude. The child will go to school after 6 age for the standard one. Why worry about it? They are not aware by doing that, it is going to affect the children's future and their capacity. Result of this is very upsetting, sir. Let me take 2 examples. Let me take a girl A and a boy B. I always believe girls are smarter, so let me tell that one. Both of them are brought up in the same atmosphere in a rural area where there's Anganwadi and girl A or A girl will go to Anganwadi between 3 to 6. She will learn cognitive skills, motor skills, socio-economic skills. She will learn good hygiene habits. Everything happens to her. Her brain is also developed. The other child who doesn't go from the same area, and both of them at the age of 6 go to school in the first standard. The girl A will have step by step, so she goes to the next step. The boy B is not able to go to step 1, he has to jump to step B. The child which comes to school without any preparation of any of these skills gets scared. These are the hurdles. The child sits at the back bench probably, worrying that what will I do, how will I talk, what the teacher will say. I don't know what is A, I, E or A, B, C, D, whatever language you have. Doesn't know how to count, doesn't have any other skill except that he has played last 3 to 6 years somewhere else. The child gets diffident. The child is worried. Child thinks about his self-esteem and self-worth. The child is scared. This is not for all children. There are many children who directly come to class 6. They also can overcome, but if the child has a great potential. But I'm talking about normal children. Then if the child has to improve, a teacher, a parent, or the child, or all three of them should consult, then it is possible to overcome this hurdle. Many a times it is not possible. So the child carries this of scared of learning, going to school, the joy of learning, the joy of going to school, because the fundamental is weak. When you build a building and your base is not good, the building will collapse. So the same thing will happen to the children who do not have a good base, and that is a mental base. So this dark mark will remain with the child even when he or she goes, other classes. The results are really difficult. The child will not enjoy his education. Sir, children are our future. They are rising sun. Their early education should benefit to their life. Hence, I request through you, sir, to our government to consider amending our constitution to give fundamental right to education from year 6 to 14 years to 3 to 14 years. Just increase 3 more years, but fundamental years, not later years, so that children can stand up in life with a good base and good skill. Sir, let us look at some opportunities in case it has been amended. Number 1, the female labor force participation will increase because of the more Anganwadi workers and Anganwadi helpers in Anganwadi centers. Second, the family of children who are going to work, their productivity is very high because they are not worried about where the children will be at that time. The most important thing is the early detection of disabilities. Suppose the child goes to Anganwadi, there's a screening method. There you will come to know the child is in speech or in hear or in either malfunctioning is happening. Early screening helps them, their future, because they can get corrected in an early stage. We always say when the sapling you can bend a sapling when it is very small, young, in any direction. Once it becomes a tree, it's very difficult to move. Similarly, any intervention, any help is required for such children with some malfunctioning is there, that can be taken care in screening. And this is one of the most important things in Anganwadi. Number 4, children brain is completely developed by this time. It's a great boost. Sir, I have a few more humble suggestions to the government, to the Madam Annapurna Devi. We must have a large-scale awareness for this 3 to 6 year education. The beautiful campaign which caught my eye was Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Similar kind of a campaign is required for children between age 3 to 6 to go to Anganwadi. The government can consider, state government can consider to rope CSR funds from industries. Sir, every company has CSR mandatory, which is 2%. And second thing is, there are certain rules are there which the schemes come under CSR. Some schemes do not come under CSR. I would request ma'am to think over it. Anganwadi improvement scheme, you should put it in CSR, you should list in CSR so that industry can also participate in this. Normally, Anganwadi workers feel this title, sir. When I work with Anganwadi workers, they always say, we don't like to be called Anganwadi workers. I said, why? No, we like the word Asha. Asha looks nice. Maybe in that atmosphere, the word Asha has a lot more Asha. Whereas Anganwadi is like, they think, oh, you are like anybody else, I want some other name. So there are many names, sir, but I have one suggestion. Decision is ultimately government. Deepa. Deepa, this is the word which is a light. A light is synonymous with knowledge. A lamp removes the darkness. Darkness is ignorance. Deepa is a word which is valid from north to south and east to west. Everybody understands the meaning of Deepa is the same Deepa. So this gives them a kind of resilience, kind of enthusiasm to work. Because in village area, Asha is more important. They always feel Anganwadi is not. So this is a small psychological lift I want to give. Whenever Anganwadi center infrastructure is made, modified, I would request government to consider child-friendly. It should be made more child-friendly. Sir, I know it is not easy task. It is difficult, I know, but it is possible. You require enormous amount of time, sir, because you can see the history. Vajpayee ji took a step in 2002, but in 2009 it was the RTE, or right to education was implemented. In 2000, it took 7 long years. Similarly, 2018, portion tracking system started and it came into existence after 3 years. So it takes time. Logistics, and there are many logistics are required to implement this. Most important is like a heart is financial implications. Though it is a lot of investment and it has a lot of thinking on financial implications. 4, India is a large country with a large population. It is not like, what you implement in a smaller country, it is in 20 days, it's not possible in India 20 months, because it is a huge country with huge population. And wherever you want to implement different methodologies, different things have to use in each state. But sir, we have to do this. I urge government to consider this. Sir, if we want to change the destiny of our children, our country, in our country only we have to do. I will quote a shloka from Bhagavad Gita. It was asked to Krishna, who can help? Who is my good friend? Who is my bad? Who is my enemy? Krishna says, Atmahi Atmano Bandhur, Atmahi Ripu Atmana. You are your best friend. Who is my enemy? You are your own enemy. Suppose, sir, my country has to develop, we have to work. We the people, we the society, we the government, all of us have to work to improve our country, to make it better in our country. Everything should work, then we have to work. We should not depend on anybody. Sir, Shri Modi ji's vision is always Atmanirbhar Bharata. It is one of the fantastic methods, sir, because you are depend on yourself. Atmahi, Atmano Bandhur, that means your friend. And if you don't do that, you are your enemy. Atmahi Ripu Atmanaha. It makes us self-sufficient, self-reliant, and it makes us confident people. And that's the reason I feel, with all the difficulties, we the people, we the government, we the society, we the school, all should participate in this big movement of the age between 3 to 6, and making compulsory learning method or Anganwadi system. Sir, now I want to give some examples. For example, when the job is uphill task, walking on a hill, uphill is not easy, but it can be made flat. I'll give 3 examples. The first example I would like to give is Huainat Sang in 629 AD. He was a Chinese traveler, a bright Buddhist monk who wanted to come to India and go to Nalanda. His ultimate thing was Nalanda. a great Buddhist university at that time, and learn there, take the text, Chinese, Indian Buddhist text back to China. When he decided, everyone gave advice to him. Anyway, you know, in India we are famous for giving free advice. He also must have got a lot of free advice there, saying that you can't go. It's a distant land. It's the western side. How will you go? The emperor of the Tang dynasty at that time was very fond of him. He said, you cannot go. How can you go to India? By foot, it is not possible. So he imprisoned him. But Huinat Sangh, escaped in the night. He walked Gobi Desert by foot, took the Silk route, and came to Kanauj, then to Patna, and then to Nalanda. He learned there as a student first, and later he became a teacher. And he wrote a book known as CUK, Wandering in the West. For Chinese, we are Westerners. So he says, wandering in the West, he talks so much about India, the life of Indians in 629 AD at Kannauj, and he describes Peshawar, he describes Patna, he describes Nalanda and many more places, including Sanchi. He describes all those things. And he took those books back to China. Today, if we want to know something about India at 629 AD, we have to refer a Chinese book, CUK, which gives all the detailing. Why did he do that, sir? It was not needed. He was a good Buddhist monk. He could have sat in a Xi'an, in a pagoda, and he could have led his life. He said, no. My passion is to go and earn knowledge. My passion is to go uphill work, make it flat, and achieve it. To get this knowledge, I have to work hard. I should have patience. I should undergo all difficulties, but then only I can get it, but only I can do this. I don't care about anything, but I care for the knowledge. So it is possible in life, whichever they look uphill task over a period of time, with patience, with perseverance, with passion, we can achieve. Sir, if we decide to do this 3 to 6 year compulsory, it is to some extent a uphill task, but we can do with patience of time. We can do this with perseverance of following up with the people, with the society, and we should have passion for that. Otherwise, it is not possible. Any amount of money you may have, but if you do not have these 3 P's, it is not possible to achieve at all. Secondary example I want to give, however funny, but I just, because it's my own experience, I thought I should share to this august house. I'm a small person. Compared to Huinat Singh and all, I'm not a great person. Sir, in the year 1974, when I did my engineering, there were hardly few lady engineers in India. And I saw an advertisement where House of Tatas wrote, lady engineers need not apply, because the work was in Jamshedpur as well as in Pune and many places. And as a young girl, I wrote a postcard to J.R.D. Tata, who was the head of Tata Industry. I wrote to him, maybe because at 23 you're all idealist, and there's a very famous saying, at the age of 20, if you are not an idealist, you don't have heart. You continue to be, you don't have brain. It's for fun. So I wrote a letter to J.R.D. Tata asking this simple question on a postcard. I said, sir, if any country has to progress, if any society has to progress, then men and women should participate. Women are 50% of the population. And if you say, even though they are technically qualified, and if you say lady students need not apply, that means you are not opening a door for a technical person in your company. Sir, that is not fair, because if half the population is not allowed to work, then country will not progress. So there is nothing great about me writing, because I was a young idealist girl. And I did not, sir, I come from a teacher's family, and I did not have any connection to the corporate world. I did not know anything in politics, nor I have any other equipment to reach JRD. It's only a postcard. I was well equipped with education, and education was my weapon. Education was also my asset. The greatness was JRD, sir, not me. He read that letter, he said, yes, what this young girl has asked has a valid point. If the society has to change, we have to allow many things to do. And one of them is allow women to work in a factory. He must have faced, because Sir JRD is not here now, he must have faced many things. His colleagues saying it is not correct, where the girl will stay, where the ladies' toilet will be there. But he said, if you want to start anything new, we have to start at any cost. The rest is history. I joined House of Tata. And it is nothing great about me, sir. It is great about that leader whose vision was so great, who had a beautiful blue eyes, which I remember, the vastness of the sky, the depth of the ocean. He understood not a postcard, the content of the postcard, the meaning of that. If we do not work, allow the opportunity for remaining people to succeed in life, it is not correct in a society. Similarly, I feel, sir, if we do not train our children between the age of 3 and 6, if they don't become good citizens, they may become good citizens, but they may not be well equipped with knowledge, the error lies with us. Error lies with us. I will give one more example, sir. Being a history teacher's daughter and a granddaughter, I am prone to history. In 1969, Neil Armstrong went to moon and placed his first foot on the moon. He gave a very famous statement. It may be a single step on the moon, but it's a big leap for the mankind. This generation people may not know. At least 1969, I have heard there was no TV. I've heard every conversation, so I remember it. Sir, it's the same way, like what Huenat Singh talked about 10,000 Li journey. Li is a Chinese measurement in those days of the distance. Sir, all these projects are difficult, but you have to take one step at a time, but you have to take it. Otherwise, there is no way. If we take one step today, next generation will have a jump in their life, which is nothing but our asset. I will give one more example, sir. In 1815, there was a young person by the name Prince Bismarck of Germany. His early childhood educator was his mother. Maybe 0 to 3 or 3 to 6, what she taught him. Beta, you should do the following things. She told him, keep personal hygiene very good, respect time, keep house clean, go for detailing, in any work, become efficient, and many more things she taught. He learned that, and it became a part of his life. When he became a chancellor of Prussia in those days, he made all his subjects in that country all these principles. Keep personal hygiene, keep roads clean, keep parks clean, respect time, be efficient, go into the detailing, and become efficient. And it continued for 2-3 generations. It became a part of DNA of Germany. So today, Germany is synonymous with efficiency, accurate measurement, precision, and cleanliness. Sir, anything we do every day, it becomes a part of DNA. So I want all mothers and parents should understand, like how we brush our teeth, take bath, have breakfast and go to school. All parents and mothers should have that kind of a DNA, that children at the age of 3 should get up, brush their teeth, have their breakfast, go to school. This should be autonomous, automatically should happen. Reflection should be immediate reflection. To happen that, we have to practice continuously. To practice that, we should have a project first. We should have a project, then you have to practice. It becomes a part of DNA. When it becomes a part of DNA, without any effort, you do that work. You do that work. And this should become a DNA in Indian culture. To have that, sir, we should have this project. My submission to the government through you, sir, is to please consider this request seriously. Sir, our Prime Minister's dream is Viksit Bharat or Developed Bharat in 2047. To realize his dream, there are many paths. This is one of the paths I consider. Well-developed nation is always with well-developed people. One such path is ECCE, that is Early Childhood Care and Education. If we implement it now, those children who receive these Anganwadi services will there inherit Viksit Bharat dream in 2047 as confident, self-reliant, healthy citizens. Sir, Rome was not built in a day. Independence was not given in a day. Many leaders, many years, sacrificed their lives, their personal life, struggled, and at the end we got independence. So these projects are not immediately, in a day it is done. We require time, but we have to do this one. We should only realize our dream when, and our children will appreciate our effort once we have 3 to 6 or 3 to 14 years of education, compulsory, all over India, free education, which should become a birthright. It is possible under PM Modi ji's leadership, sir. I am confident about it. Next generation people will remember him, owe to him that he changed their life. How Mr. Vajpayee changed, made a change, in 2002, the RTE, that 6 to 14, I think our Modi ji will do 3 to 14. Sir, I would like to conclude. Being a teacher for many years, until the next bell rings, I may go on talking. I do not want to do that today. I want to take a quote from Gita, which Krishna says about Atma. But I will tell this one to Vidya. For me, Vidya, education, knowledge are synonymous. This is a beautiful shloka. He says, Nainam chandanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayan apo, na sheshayuti marutaha. He says to Atma, but I will tell, if you learn some skill, you learn your education in a proper way, you master Vidya. When you master Vidya, no thief can come and steal it. It need not be kept in a Godrej locker. Nobody can cut it into pieces. It remains solid in your heart. It cannot be burnt with Agni because it is imperishable. It cannot be drowned in water because it's above the water. No wind can take it to the distant destination because it is heavier than that. Education is that asset. Everybody should owe it. Everybody should have the right on it. Education can change your life forever. Education is something which is not inherited but to be learned in a proper age, in a proper school, with a proper teacher, with a proper leader, with a proper society, with a proper government. And we have all those things in front of us. I am really grateful, sir, for your opportunity you have given to me to talk such a long time. And I thank all my colleagues for patient hearing. Thanks for giving me this great debate time. And Jai Hind, Vande Mataram. With these words, sir, I present the resolution to the House. Dhanyavad once again.
Dhanyavad Sudha ji. Resolution moved. I now call upon the members whose names have been received for participation in the discussion. Dr. Medha Bisram Kulkarni.
धन्यवाद माननीय उपसभापति महोदय। आंगनवाड़ी को सक्षम बनाने का ये जो प्रस्ताव आदरणीय सदस्य सुधा मूर्ति जी ने दिया है, मैं उसका समर्थन करती हूँ। आदरणीय महोदय, आज देखा जाए तो इस देश में 14 लाख आंगनवाड़ियाँ हैं, जिसमें 13,48,000 वर्कर्स है और 10,23,000 हेल्पर्स है। सबसे पहले आंगनवाड़ी ये संकल्पना या इससे सिमिलर जो संकल्पना है वो महाराष्ट्र में ताराबाई मोडक इन्होंने प्रस्तावित की थी और उसके बाद अनुताई वाघ इन्होंने उसको आंगनवाड़ी ये शब्द दिया। मुझे गर्व है अनुताई वाघ और ताराबाई मोडक दोनों महाराष्ट्र से आती हैं। जो बच्चे स्कूल में नहीं जा पाते या जो पेरेंट्स वर्कर्स कैटेगरी के हैं और जो अपने बच्चों को स्कूल में डालने के लिए उनके पास समय नहीं है या सुविधा नहीं है, ऐसे बच्चों के लिए उनके घर के आंगन में ही एक स्कूल, प्री प्राइमरी स्कूल बनाया जाए, ये इसका थॉट था, ये इसकी संकल्पना थी। इस संकल्पना को बढ़ाते हुए ICDS के तहत उसको अलग और भी वर्टिकल्स जोड़े गए और एक बहुत ही अच्छा मॉडल पूरे देश में ये चल रहा है, जिसका उपयोग बहुत ज़्यादा है और जिसका पोटेंशियल इससे भी ज़्यादा है, हो सकता है उपयोग में लाया जा सकता है। उसके अलग अलग जो वर्टिकल्स है या ऑब्जेक्टिव्स कहा जा सकता है, वो है सप्लीमेंट्री न्यूट्रिशन, प्री स्कूल एजुकेशन, इम्यूनाइजेशन, हेल्थ चेकअप्स, रिफरल सर्विसेज एटसेट्रा। माननीय महोदय, मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी की महिला मोर्चा में, नेशनल महिला मोर्चा में भी मैं वाइस प्रेसिडेंट की जिम्मेदारी के ऊपर काम कर रही हूँ। भारतीय जनता पार्टी महिला मोर्चा ने, नेशनल महिला मोर्चा ने आदर्श आंगनवाड़ी का एक प्रोजेक्ट लिया था और मैं उसकी हेड थी। मैं पूरे देश भर आंगनवाड़ी का प्रोजेक्ट लेकर अलग अलग स्टेट्स में गई हूँ। आपके नागालैंड में आई थी, महाराष्ट्र में तो अलग अलग आंगनवाड़ियों को भेंट दिया ही था, आंध्र प्रदेश गई थी, गुजरात, मध्य प्रदेश, बिहार, इतना ही नहीं, वेस्ट बंगाल, कश्मीर के पाकिस्तान के बॉर्डर तक, कुपवाड़ा, मच्छल डुड्डी, वहाँ तक मैं आंगनवाड़ी का प्रोजेक्ट कैसा चल रहा है, काम कैसा चल रहा है, ये करने के लिए गई थी। मुझे खुशी है कि अलग अलग राज्यों में बहुत अच्छा प्रयास और आंगनवाड़ी की वर्कर्स बहुत अच्छा काम कर रही है। एक आध दो जगह छोड़कर मैं उसका उदाहरण भी दूंगी। आंगनवाड़ी का काम दो तरीके का होता है। एक तो 4 घंटा आंगनवाड़ी की वर्कर को, जिसको वो खुद को शिक्षिका बोलती है, वो टीचर नहीं होती, लेकिन हम उसको शिक्षिका नहीं बोलते, वो खुद को टीचर बोलती है, शिक्षिका बोलती है। तो आंगनवाड़ी की जो वर्कर होती है वो 4 घंटे, हेल्पर और वो वर्कर 4 घंटे उनको प्री स्कूल में बच्चों को पढ़ाना पड़ता है और उसके बाद 2 घंटे फील्ड वर्क का काम है उनको। ये जो 7-8 घंटे का काम होता है, उसके एक्सटेंड भी हो जाता है। 250 घरों के पीछे एक आंगनवाड़ी सुनिश्चित की गई है। मतलब जैसे कि हमारी बूथ यंत्रणा रहती है, वैसे उस तरीके से कि 250 घरों के पीछे एक आंगनवाड़ी है और आंगनवाड़ी की टीचर या उसको वर्कर कहा जाता है, वो वर्कर फील्ड में जाके जरूरत क्या क्या है उस फील्ड के हर घर की जानकारी रखती है। सरकार की जो योजना है उसका लाभ हर घर को देती है। कहाँ लैक्टेटिंग मदर है, कहाँ प्रेग्नेंट वुमेन है, इन सबको क्या क्या लाभ देना है। वैक्सीनेशन, अब वैक्सीनेशन को देखा जाए तो कोविड के समय में आंगनवाड़ी वर्कर ने जितना काम किया है, डॉक्टर्स को हेल्प की है, उतना मेरे ख्याल से किसी ने नहीं किया। बहुत सारे रिस्क लेके अंदर जाकर, फील्ड में जाकर, स्लम्स में जाकर उन्होंने अपना योगदान दिया है। बहुत ही सराहनीय काम उन्होंने किया है। तो फील्ड में उनके लिए बहुत सारे काम होते हैं। माल न्यूट्रिशन के जो बच्चे हैं, माताएं हैं, सुदृढ़ माता, सुदृढ़ बालक, इसका कंपटीशन लेना, सब काम उनको ट्रेनिंग देना, पोषण आहार कैसे अच्छा बनाएं उसको माताओं को ट्रेनिंग देना, ये सब का काम वो उनको करना पड़ता है। और 4 घंटे जो बच्चों को पढ़ाना, अभी सुधा दीदी ने कहा कि किस तरह से अलग अलग स्किल्स, ये इनफॉर्मल एजुकेशन होता है, मैं खुद एक टीचर हूँ तो किस तरीके से प्री एजुकेशन होता है वो सबको मालूम है, मैं उसके डीप में नहीं जाऊंगी। लेकिन ये सब स्किल्स पहले उसको आने चाहिए, फिर वो बाद में उसका उपयोग करेगी। तो बहुत सारी समस्याओं को उसको फेस करना पड़ता है। जैसे कि उनको स्मार्टफोन्स दिए गए हैं, बहुत सारी जगह नेटवर्क न होने की वजह से स्मार्टफोन्स काम नहीं करते, तो वो डेटा भेज नहीं सकती। उनको ये कहा गया है कि पेरेंट्स के वीडियो डालकर 20-20 सेकंड की वीडियो लेने हैं उनको, 20 सेकंड के, वो वीडियो लेकर उनको डालना पड़ता है। वो समय पर अगर नहीं डाले जाए तो उनका जो प्रोत्साहन निधि है वो उनको नहीं मिलता। उनको रिकॉर्ड रखने पड़ते हैं। मैं उदाहरण दूंगी, किसी को क्रिटिसाइज करने के लिए नहीं। मैं वेस्ट बंगाल गई थी। वेस्ट बंगाल में हमें धक्के मारकर निकाला गया। आंगनवाड़ी में हम जब गए थे, हमारे कार्यकर्ता मिलकर हम जब गए थे, तो आंगनवाड़ी से हमने पूछताछ की। उनके लिए पोषक आहार की सामग्री दी जाती है सरकार की तरफ से, और उनको वो बच्चों को देना पड़ता है। अगर बच्चों को वो नहीं देंगे तो बच्चे सुदृढ़ कैसे बनेंगे? आंगनवाड़ी की महिलाओं को एक रिकॉर्ड रखना पड़ता है। रेड लाइन, येलो लाइन और ग्रीन लाइन। बच्चे अगर अंडरवेट है तो उनको वो रेड लाइन में चले जाते हैं और उनको 1, 2, 3 महीने में अलग अलग तरीका इस्तेमाल करके सप्लीमेंट्री न्यूट्रिशन देके उनको अपग्रेड करना पड़ता है और वो रिकॉर्ड उनको रखना पड़ता है। हमने वहाँ रिकॉर्ड की मांग की। जस्ट हम पूछताछ के कुछ चंद हमने सवाल पूछे, उनसे प्रश्न पूछे, तो उन्होंने हमें कहा कि ये आप क्यों पूछना चाहती है? हमने उनसे कहा कि सरकार आपको ये देती है, क्या आप लोगों को देती है? हमने पेरेंट्स के साथ भी बात करनी चाहिए। उन्होंने गुंडे बुलाकर हमें वहां से निकाल दिया। हमारी जो दीदी थी वहां की महिला मोर्चा की, वो रोने लगी। वो बोली कि दीदी हमें इससे बहुत तकलीफ होगी, चलिए चलिए बाहर निकलिए, हम निकलेंगे, नहीं तो हमारे घर में ये हो जाएगा वो हो जाएगा। क्या क्या होता है और क्या क्या किस्से हैं वो तो आप सबको मालूम ही है। एक छोटा इंक्वायरी करने के बाद उनको इतना गुस्सा आया। मतलब कुछ जगह उसमें मॉनिटरिंग करने की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत है। कई जगह अच्छे काम हो रहे हैं लेकिन सुविधाएं कम है। इसका उदाहरण मैं माननीय महोदय, आपके जरिए मंत्री महोदय को देना चाहती हूँ। जैसे कि हमारी पुणे सिटी है, अर्बन एरियाज में आंगनवाड़ी का स्कूल चलाने के लिए जो क्लासरूम लगता है उसके लिए 3000, आप इमेजिन नहीं कर पाओगे, 3000 का अनुदान मिलता है, रेंट। तो 3000 में कोई अच्छा क्लासरूम तो आएगा नहीं। सुविधा अच्छी होने के लिए ज्यादा पैसा खर्च करना पड़ता है और उतनी सैलरी आंगनवाड़ी की शिक्षिका की होती नहीं है, ये जो कुछ के जेब से खर्च करे। तो प्रॉब्लम यह है कि रूरल एरियाज में 1500 और अर्बन एरियाज में 3000 मैक्सिमम रेंट इनको मिलता है। तो अगर टॉयलेट्स, पैंट्री, बाकी सब सुविधा, ऐसी क्लासरूम्स अगर उनको चाहिए तो उनके लिए ज़्यादा रेंट देने की आवश्यकता मुझे महसूस हुई। हमें सबको मालूम है कि प्राइमरी स्कूल्स की ताकत कितनी ज़्यादा है। 0 से 3 आयु के बच्चे और 3 से 6 आयु के बच्चे साल के, उनके ऊपर हम जितनी मेहनत करेंगे उतना ही रिजल्ट बाद में उनकी शिक्षा में हम ला सकते हैं। क्योंकि 0 to 6 इयर्स बच्चों का ग्रोथ रेट बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, लेकिन अगर ये बैंडविड्थ जो है वो हमने अगर मिस कर दी तो आने वाली अगली उनकी शिक्षा जो है उस पर उसका परिणाम अच्छा नहीं होगा। और इस पर अगर हमें फोकस करना है तो आंगनवाड़ी सक्षम करने की, आंगनवाड़ी अच्छी होने की, आंगनवाड़ी में सुविधाओं की पूरी तैयारी होने की बहुत आवश्यकता है। और 3000 के प्रति माह रेंट में ये हो नहीं सकेगा। आंगनवाड़ी एक ग्रास रूट से जुड़ा हुआ ऐसा प्रकल्प है। उनके ऊपर बहुत ज़्यादा जिम्मेदारी होने के बावजूद उनको जो मानधन मिलता है वो मेरे ख्याल से बहुत, कई राज्यों में अच्छा है, कई राज्यों में बहुत कम है। तो राज्यों का अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन उनको बढ़ाना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि वहाँ के लोकल रेसिडेंट्स के लिए आंगनवाड़ी की सुविधा है। तो मुझे लगता है कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने उनको इंस्ट्रक्शन देनी चाहिए। सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का एक कंट्रीब्यूशन होता है और राज्यों का भी कंट्रीब्यूशन होता है, लेकिन कई राज्यों में ये कंट्रीब्यूशन बहुत ही कम है। तो मिनिमम सैलरी कितनी होनी चाहिए उसका कुछ आंकड़ा तय किया जाए और उसके ऊपर काम किया जाए। आंगनवाड़ी की सेविका जहाँ रहती है वहाँ से निकलकर उसको वहाँ आंगनवाड़ी तक पहुँचने के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा समय भी जाता है, बहुत ज़्यादा उनका खर्चा भी होता है। तो 10,000, 11,000, 13,000 की सैलरी में अलग अलग जगह अलग अलग सैलरी है, कई जगह अच्छी सैलरी है 20,000 वगैरह हो सकती है। तो मेरे ख्याल से अच्छी सैलरी उनको मिलनी चाहिए। उनको ज़्यादा जिम्मेदारियां हम और भी ज़्यादा दे सकते हैं, क्योंकि वो 250 घरों में रोज जाती है, तो उसको अलग अलग और भी जिम्मेदारियां हम दे सकते हैं। जैसे कि मातृवंदना योजना उनके इसमें है ही, जिम्मेदारी के इसमें है, कक्षा में है। उसके अलावा वैक्सीनेशन है और भी है, और भी ज़्यादा जिम्मेदारियां उनको हम दे सकते हैं और ज़्यादा सैलरी भी हम दे सकते हैं। क्या ऐसा मॉडल हम ला सकते हैं? इस पर विचार करना चाहिए। पुणे जैसे एरिया में एक प्रयास किया जा रहा है कि पुणे म्यूनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशंस के जो स्कूल्स है, स्कूल में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अच्छा होता है, उससे आंगनवाड़ी को जोड़ा जाए। तो इस प्रयास का भी बाकी जगह अनुकरण अगर हो सकता है तो अच्छा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वाला क्लासरूम हर आंगनवाड़ी को मिल सकता है। जेडपी के स्कूल्स है, म्यूनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशंस के, नगर पालिका के स्कूल्स है, तो इनके साथ आंगनवाड़ी को जोड़ा जा सकता है। मुझे मालूम है कि आंगनवाड़ी महिला बाल विकास के अंतर्गत आती है।
मेंबर्स आई विल रिक्वेस्ट प्लीज, आवाज आती है प्लीज। यस।
और ये एजुकेशन से संबंधित सब्जेक्ट है, लेकिन दोनों सब्जेक्ट्स जोड़कर, क्योंकि ये आंगनवाड़ी जो है वो प्री एजुकेशन के लिए काम करती है, और न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में आंगनवाड़ी को बहुत लास्ट सेंटेंस न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में प्री प्राइमरी एजुकेशन को प्राइमरी एजुकेशन से जोड़ा गया है। तो इसलिए ये दोनों डिपार्टमेंट्स जोड़कर कुछ ऐसा मॉडल सामने ला सकते हैं जिससे आंगनवाड़ी सुदृढ़ हो और प्री प्राइमरी एजुकेशन और बाकी योजनाओं का ही लाभ हो। हमारे आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी महिलाओं के लिए और बच्चों के लिए, बालकों के लिए, उनकी शिक्षा के लिए, उनकी सुदृढ़ता के लिए बहुत अच्छे उपाय कर रहे हैं। आंगनवाड़ी को सक्षम करके हम इस प्रयास में और भी ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव उसको बना सकते हैं। और हमारा जो पॉपुलेशन है, बहुत ज़्यादा पॉपुलेशन होने वाला अपना देश है, और अपना देश युवा देश करके जाना जा रहा है। तो ये आने वाले युवा एसेट होंगे या लायबिलिटी बनेंगे, ये शिक्षा के ऊपर निर्भर है। इसलिए मुझे ये रिक्वेस्ट करनी है कि आंगनवाड़ी को सक्षम बनाया जाने की आवश्यकता है। मुझे आपने बोलने का अवसर दिया, मैं आपको धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करती हूँ।
बहुत धन्यवाद डॉक्टर मेधा जी। ऑनरेबल पी विल्सन जी।
Thank you, Deputy Chairman, sir. I welcome the private member resolution to amend Article 21 and introduce Article 21B, guaranteeing free and compulsory early childhood care and education between 3 to 6 years, and all children receive equitable and holistic early childhood support. Sir, this can also be done by amending Article 21A itself. Chairman, sir, Article 21A, which was introduced in 2009 for a noble cause, is now sought to be made meaningless even to a child between 6 to 14 years because of the new policy of Union of India. Let's see whether Article 21A really receives its literal respect in this country. The Union government collects 4% health and education cess from every citizen. These funds are meant exclusively for schemes under Article 21A, the fundamental right to free and compulsory education. Now let's see whether it is spent meaningfully. The Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan is funded from this cess. It is not charity, it is not discretion, it is a constitutional obligation. But instead of honoring that obligation, the Union government has chosen to punish the state of Tamil Nadu by withholding 3,548.22 crores of Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan funds that directly belong to the children of this country. On what basis, sir? Because our state refuses to accept a non-binding national education policy, a policy that never been placed before the Parliament for legislative scrutiny. Will this policy bind state of Tamil Nadu which has a law to teach only 2 languages in our state. Is this how cooperative federalism is supposed to function? Is dissent from a state government now a reason for the union to financially strangle school education and deny fundamental rights to children? Sir, because of this arbitrary and vindictive withholding of funds, 44 lakh students, 2.2 lakhs of teachers are being directly affected in Tamil Nadu. It is completely unacceptable in a union of states. Chairman, sir, there is another pathetic situation of wherein 98 lakhs teachers are going to lose jobs in this country within 2 years, thus have a direct effect of Article 21A of the Constitution. Chairman, sir, the interpretation of RTE Act and NCT Act by the courts mandates that all in-service teachers of minority schools who have never written the teacher's eligibility test must now pass that test within 2 years, failing which they will lose their jobs within 2 years. The right of children to free and compulsory education of 2009 Act, shortly called as RT Act, is applied retrospectively to all teachers in this country to qualify teachers' eligibility test. Even teachers with less than 5 years of service remaining have been stripped of the promotion if they don't qualify in TET. Such alteration of service condition and disruption of their legitimate expectation of promotion after appointment certainly violates their rights. Sir, in Tamil Nadu alone, 4 lakhs teachers will be losing their jobs. Across India, 98 lakhs teachers are going to be affected and will be losing the jobs. Therefore, Article 21A is under great threats and schools will have no experienced teachers after 2 years. These teachers who are going to lose their jobs were fully qualified, legitimately recruited and professionally competent under the statute rules that existed at the time of appointment. They began their service long before the teacher's eligibility test was introduced in 2009. They entered services with the legitimate expectation of career progression based on the rules then in force. And what is worse, sir, is that the NCT notification dated 23/8/2010 issued under the RTE Act explicitly protected all pre-2010 teachers. It clearly said new qualification requirement shall not apply to teachers appointed prior to the notification. That protection was absolute and unambiguous. But later, insertion of Section 12A in the NCT Act in 2012 and provisos in RT Act 2009 created a direct contradiction, and this made the courts to interpret the law in a matter that one has to necessarily qualify in the teacher's eligibility test. Thereby, this amendment completely nullifies the earlier statutory protection. Chairman, the result is teachers who have been teaching for 15 years, 20 years and even 25 years also are suddenly told. Yes, I'm coming to that.
Coming to resolution.
Yes, I'm coming to that.
Please come.
Yes, I'm coming to that only. Are told suddenly
subject, and
that
you know
they have to
also
leave the services. I'm coming to that subject only.
You have to speak in for or against the...
Yes, Chairman, I'm coming to that.
To come on
21A becomes
resolution.
meaningless.
Please.
Yes. No state, no matter how efficient, can replace lakhs of serving teachers within 2 years. No education system can withstand such an overnight shock without collapsing, and no teacher should be humiliated after decades of service by being forced to take a new eligibility test that never existed when they were appointed.
Please
yes, I come to that.
No, not
Chairman,
come to
sir.
that. You have spoken
Chairman,
enough.
sir, I'm coming to that. Chairman, sir, 21A is become meaningless. Let us talk about 21B later.
Yes, you please move
yes.
parliamentary
resolution
procedure
I've already addressed. Yes, Chairman, sir, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu has already written to our Honorable Prime Minister on 25/11. I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. Chairman, I'm coming to that. Chairman, I'm coming to that. Chairman, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that.
Please.
The Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu has already written to the Honorable Prime Minister on 25/11.
Anymore. I'm just warning you, sir. Please.
Yes, through
please
you, I urge the Union to give us 3,548.22 crores and also protect the services of the teachers.
I'll move
now,
so far as
the resolution is concerned, Chairman says, so far as the resolution is concerned, The
You are
right to
supposed to
free
talk
and
on
compulsory
resolution only.
education, Chairman sir,
Please.
education cannot stop with 3 to 6 years students, age students. It has to be seen from 6 to 12 years, because 21A is a valuable right, Chairman sir. This RT Act was brought in 2009 to see that all children in India gets the education, and that is why this 21A was brought in. What I wanted to point out is that 21A is become meaningless today because of the attitude of the union government. No doubt,
So
we have to appreciate.
On this.
No doubt, we have to appreciate.
Yes,
she is bringing that new amendment, and the constitution has to be amended accordingly. But if you see, this compulsory education cannot be confined to elementary levels alone. It must be progressively extended to cover all students up to class 12, ensuring continuity, equity, and universal access to quality schooling. Expanding this constitutional guarantee is essential not only for strengthening our human capital, but also for upholding the spirit of social justice and preparing the next generation to meet the challenges of a modern knowledge economy. I conclude. I therefore urge the union government to act decisively and initiate the process of including Article 21A and 21B to make free education up to 12th standard as a constitutional right. Thank you, Chairman, sir.
Thank you. Susri Swati Maliwal ji.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. Sir, I am thankful to Sudha Murthy ma'am, a brilliant educationist, for raising such an important issue, and I fully endorse her demand. Sir, this is an issue that will define the quality of India's future. If we strengthen the first 6 years of a child's life, we strengthen the next 60 years of our nation. So research shows that 85% of the brain is developed until the age of 6 years. इसलिए दुनिया के सबसे डेवलप्ड देश जापान, फिनलैंड, साउथ कोरिया सबसे ज्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट बचपन पर करते हैं. Sir, Japan's preschools are famous for raising emotionally strong, socially responsible, and extremely independent children by the age of 6. वहाँ 3 साल की उम्र के बच्चे खुद अपना काम करते हैं. क्लासरूम में उनसे रोज सफाई करवाई जाती है. यहाँ तक कि खाना तक उनको सेफली खुद बनाना सिखाया जाता है. Sir, this is not punishment. It is character education. इससे बच्चों में सर शुरू से इंडिपेंडेंस और कलेक्टिव रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी की फीलिंग आती है. सर, ये सोच टूट जाती है कि मेरी गंदगी कोई और साफ करेगा. सर, इन कंट्रीज में प्ले बेस्ड लर्निंग पे फोकस रहता है. दिस बिल्ड्स क्यूरियोसिटी, इमोशनल हेल्थ एंड लव फॉर लर्निंग. सर, वहां टीचर का रोल कोई बॉस की तरह नहीं होता, बल्कि गाइड और दोस्त की तरह होता है. सर, आज इंडिया के पास वर्ल्ड का लार्जेस्ट अर्ली एजुकेशन सिस्टम है, पर क्वालिटी गैप इज ह्यूज. सर, हमारे देश में 13.9 लाख आंगनवाड़ी सेंटर्स हैं. ये नंबर बहुत बड़ा है, पर 50% आंगनवाड़ीज की अपनी बिल्डिंग तक नहीं है. 27% आंगनवाड़ीज में फंक्शनल टॉयलेट्स नहीं है. 47% में पाइप्ड वाटर कनेक्शन नहीं है. और सर, लगभग 10% सेंटर्स सिंगल वर्कर मॉडल पे चल रहे हैं. मतलब एक ही दीदी है, वही दीदी टीचिंग भी करती हैं, रिकॉर्ड कीपिंग भी करती हैं, कुकिंग भी करती हैं, सब करती हैं. एंड शी इज द मोस्ट अंडरपेड इन आवर सिस्टम. सर, अकॉर्डिंग टू NFHS, about 49% of children enrolled in Anganwadi were not attending the preschool services. Sir, इसी वजह से आज प्राइवेट प्ले स्कूल्स हर गली, हर मोहल्ले, हर कॉलोनी में खुल गए. सर, उनका मार्केट 25,000 करोड़ रुपए क्रॉस कर चुका है. सर, फीस 30,000 से 2 लाख रुपए तक है. मिडिल क्लास तो जैसे तैसे करके अपने बच्चों को प्राइवेट स्कूल्स में पढ़ा रहे हैं, पर भारत का गरीब प्राइवेट प्ले स्कूल अफोर्ड ही नहीं कर सकता. वो आंगनवाड़ी पर ही डिपेंडेंट है. सर, इसीलिए आंगनवाड़ी का सुधार ऑप्शनल नहीं है. इट इज एन इंपेरेटिव थिंग फॉर द नेशन. सर, हमारे करिकुलम की भी ओवरहॉलिंग की बहुत ज्यादा आवश्यकता है. सर, हम आज भी कॉलोनियल माइंडसेट वाला करिकुलम चला रहे हैं. हम अभी भी ब्रिटिश एरा का रेक्टाफिकेशन और क्लेरिकल स्टाइल सिलेबस पढ़ाते हैं. सर, वो जमाना अलग था. उन्हें स्लेव्स चाहिए थे, हमें क्रिएटर्स चाहिए. उनको एम्प्लॉयज चाहिए थे, हमें एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेटर्स चाहिए. न्यू इंडिया कैन नॉट रन ऑन ओल्ड एजुकेशन मॉडल्स. लीडरशिप, कम्युनिकेशन, क्रिएटिविटी, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग, सर ये सब क्वालिटीज बचपन से डेवलप होती हैं, 12वीं कक्षा के बाद नहीं. ऑल्सो सर, फ्यूचर इज इन स्किल्स. स्किल्स मस्ट स्टार्ट अर्ली. आज के बच्चे सर उन जॉब्स के लिए पढ़ रहे हैं जो शायद अब एग्जिस्ट भी नहीं करते, इसलिए उन्हें मॉडर्न स्किल्स चाहिए, विच कैन बी एनीथिंग फ्रॉम AI टूल्स टू फोटोग्राफी. सर किसी शायर ने कहा है, लिख लिख के पढ़ा हथेली पे अल्फा बीटा गामा का छाला, कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड H2SO4 ने पूरा बचपन जला डाला. सर हाई टाइम वी मूव फ्रॉम रोट बेस्ड लर्निंग टू क्रिएटिव एंड फन मेथड्स and make our children future ready and emotionally intelligent. Further, sir, as a country, our focus on fitness, nutrition, sports, mental health is extremely minimal. Sports must become a national movement, and that does not include simply watching cricket. हमारे schools में sir sports को free time की तरह treat किया जाता है, पर sir sports discipline है, team work सिखाता है, कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ाता है, हेल्दी बनाता है, और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट, स्पोर्ट्स बच्चों को सर नशे से दूर करता है. सर हमारे बच्चों को एक्सप्लोर करने के मौके देने होंगे. जरूरी नहीं है कि जो पढ़ाई में अव्वल है वही सक्सेसफुल है. हर बच्चा एक शाइनिंग टैलेंट लेकर आता है, कोई कैमरा में, कोई कंप्यूटर में, कोई स्पोर्ट्स में, कोई म्यूजिक में. एजुकेशन का काम है सर टैलेंट डिस्कवर करना, ना कि सबको एक फिक्स्ड टेम्पलेट में डालना. सर एजुकेशन का काम है अच्छा इंसान बनाना, जिसके दिल में दूसरों के लिए दर्द ना हो, जिसका व्यवहार खराब हो, जो बड़ों की इज्जत ना करे, जो किसी की मदद नहीं कर सकता. सर वो लिटरेट जरूर हो सकता है लेकिन एजुकेटेड नहीं हो सकता. सर एजुकेशन की शुरुआत 3 साल की उम्र से होनी ही चाहिए, एंड दैट इज व्हाई आई सपोर्ट द रेजोल्यूशन मूव्ड बाय मैडम सुधा मूर्ति जी, एंड आई डिमांड दैट नंबर 1 नेशनल मिशन ऑन अर्ली चाइल्डहुड लर्निंग बनाया जाए. नंबर 2 आंगनवाड़ीज के लिए टाइम बाउंड क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स सेट करे जाएं एंड टीचर्स को बेटर ट्रेनिंग और सैलरीज दी जाएं. नंबर 3 curriculum needs complete overhauling and rote learning should end, sir. Sir, we are the youngest nation of the world. अगर हम फाउंडेशन स्ट्रॉन्ग करेंगे तो हमारा फ्यूचर ऑटोमेटिकली स्ट्रॉन्ग हो जाएगा. थैंक यू. जय हिंद.
थैंक यू. डॉक्टर सस्मित पात्रा जी.
Honorable Chairman, sir, Deputy Chairman, sir, thank you for the time. And I'll seek your indulgence for 1 or 2 minutes extra today, being a private member's resolution. Honorable Deputy Chairman, sir, I rise today with a profound sense of constitutional responsibility, and I wholeheartedly support the resolution brought by Srimati Sudha Murthy ji, primarily because now is the time to articulate it strongly. And what we started in 1950, we renewed in 1976 with the 42nd Amendment, strengthened it with the 86th Amendment in 2002. We are trying to re-articulate it today through this resolution. So I thank Srimati Sudha Murthy ji for bringing it forward. There are 3 specific aspects, and within a limited time I'll try to cover it. Firstly, the need for introducing a new Article 21B guaranteeing free and compulsory ECCE, early childhood care and education, including nutrition, health services, and pre-primary learning for every child from 3 years to 6 years. Second, universal access to care and education through Anganwadi services and other mechanisms. And third, to enhance the quality of delivery, training, and support. I support all the 3 operative paras of this resolution. This resolution also has got the preambular paras. I'm not referring to them because that, in a way, buttresses the argument for the operative paras. So these 3 operative paras being there, and the lack of time, I'll focus on only these 3 operative paras. Let me start with the basic foundation of our Constitution and why early childhood care and education is referred to. Let's start with Article 21, Honorable Deputy Chairman, sir, the right to life. And the Supreme Court over the decades has expanded the right to life in Article 21 to encompass many such areas of life and liberty. If we were to go back to Francis Corellia Mullen versus the Administrator of Union of Territory of Delhi, 1981, or Bandhua Mukti Morcha versus Union of India, we would seek jurisprudence which actually states why the right to life and liberty is held so precious, and whether it's privacy, whether it's education, whether it is health, each and every aspect, including clean air, comes under the Article 21, right to life and liberty. And that is what Srimati Sudha Murthy ji is trying to expand on today through this resolution. I'll come to a specific aspect of Article 45 of the Constitution. Article 45, as amended by the 86th Constitutional Amendment, directs the state to provide early childhood care and education for all children until they complete the age of 6 years. This is not a suggestion. This is a constitutional direction. And towards that end of Article 45, Srimati Sudha Murthy ji is trying to drive the conversation today. Let me come to the jurisprudence of education and development. Where is the jurisprudence coming from? Mohini Jain versus State of Karnataka, 1992. Unnikrishnan JP versus State of Andhra Pradesh, 1993. Both these landmark judgments have actually led to the Supreme Court that held the right to education, including the right to free education for children up to 14 years. This was before Article 21A existed. We are talking about 21B today, but before 21A came, the precursors of jurisprudence that flowed from the courts actually energized the parliament to go forward and think about 21A. So what did the parliament do in return, in response to these specific jurisprudence arising out of the Supreme Court? It passed the 86th Amendment and codified the right to education under Article 21A. Today we are standing at an identical moment in history. The court has repeatedly interpreted Article 21 to include components of early childhood development. Now the Parliament must take a step, as was seen in 1993 jurisprudence, to consider the inclusion of Article 21B to further strengthen what this resolution wants to bring about on ECCE. I would like us to consider for a moment the right to food. People's Union for Civil Liberties versus Union of India, 2001 and onwards, where the Supreme Court said that every child is entitled to supplementary nutrition, Anganwadi centers must be established in every habitation, and children between 0 and 6 years must receive nutrition and preschool education through ICDS. So this is how we have moved forward. I come to the second aspect of it. In the paucity of time, I'll keep moving quickly. I'll come towards the statutory and policy structures that support this resolution and try to buttress the statutory and policy structures that will help this resolution come true through Article 21B inclusion. First, the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act of 2009. Second, the National Food Security Act of 2013. Third, the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children's Act 2015. If we were to look at all of these three, along with the National Education Policy of 2020, we would realize whether it's food, it's education, it's primary health care, children's development, all of them have already been taken care of through several laws and jurisprudence over the last 50, 70 years of our democracy. And that is why the idea of 21A came forward. Another 2 minutes?
Please have.
So the national education, I come to now to the NEP. The National Education Policy of 2020 declares early childhood care and education to be a national priority. This is what the resolution is also about, to use ECCE as the national priority and commits the country to achieving universal ECCE by 2030. So we have created a target for ourselves. And if this resolution passes through Article 21B, then that will further give us energy to go forward. I come to the National Curriculum Framework for the Foundational Stage 2022, which is part of the policy as well. It provides a pedagogical roadmap about how we have to go forward for the children from the ages of 3 to 8. It's not that we do not have frameworks. We have them, but we have to energize them. I will not talk of the international obligations. I understand the time is over. Convention on the Rights of Children of 1989, Sustainable Development Goals, etc., etc. I'll come to the last 3 operative points. 1, the constitutional right to Article 21B, 2, universal access to strengthen Anganwadi, and 3, the supported system. The last 30 seconds. Let us adopt this resolution with conviction. Let us make Article 21B a reality. Let us strengthen the Anganwadi system and all mechanisms of early care. Let us equip our educators and caregivers with skills, dignity, and resources they deserve. And above all, Honorable Vice Chairperson, ma'am, let us honor the children of India, the silent citizens of our democracy, the sovereigns of our future. With these words, I support the resolution brought by Srimati Sudha Murthy ji, and I hope it passes through. I thank you.
Honourable Member, Dr. John Bittas.
Thank you, ma'am. Hope the chair would be magnanimous like it was to Sasmit. I feel that I am honored to speak on a resolution moved by Sudhaji. Her insightful, philosophical words have given a direction to us. Though I have certain reservations when she tried to compliment the government for what they are doing, if her genuine expressions with regard to the government were right, then there was no need absolutely for a resolution like this. Since there are a lot of things which are found wanting, that's why he had to bring such a resolution. But I admire her, and she could bring such a resolution because a lot of things happened with her life. Her life got reformed because during her marriage, her husband was a communist. That also changed her life. Ma'am, you know that the best way to predict the future is to create the future. The best way to predict the future is to create it. And you know that all big ideas were simple. I would say the simple thing is that you give education to the people, empower them, that will change them. I fully subscribe to her. Ma'am, you will appreciate that one state which invested heavily in education and health, that is Kerala. Yes. Now I can tell you the extent of impact that is creating in the life and profession of Sudhaji as a parliamentarian, because she has a Malayali lamp as her assistant. Am I not correct? Tell me, please. I am correct. Please get it recorded. Ma'am, I had the opportunity to meet the Honorable Minister. She was very courteous, very nice, very gentle. My request was that this Anganwadi program was launched 50 years back. It's a golden jubilee of that. If the government has some respect for these hapless Anganwadi workers who toil day and night to prop up our lesser mortals, the children, they should declare an additional incentive or increase their wage. Ma'am, didn't I come and request you, ma'am? Honorable Minister, didn't I come and request you? I requested you. You are in favor of that, I know that. She said she will try her level best. She promised also. But she couldn't succeed in it. Sudhaji, why she couldn't succeed? अब इतना तारीफ दिया प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब को. If the prime minister had just shown a little bit of gesture towards this hapless woman, she could have been in a position to be jubilated, participating in this debate and saying that in the 50th year of Anganwadi program, I was instrumental in increasing the wages, honorarium of the Anganwadi. Our Honorable Minister couldn't get that opportunity, Sudhaji. Please understand that. Ma'am, when we invested heavily in education, Kerala, in health, a lot of people said, why are you investing, wasting your time? wasting your money. You should start some factories. That was the request, advice given to us by many. We said, no, we have to emancipate the people.
Please conclude.
Madam, what is this? I have just started only. Now, you gave some 5 minutes extra, and if you want me to speak, I will speak. If you want me to sit down, I will sit. This is a private member day. We are free to talk. Now, you know one thing. This Anganwadi program, Kerala is giving 13,000 per month. I know it's not sufficient, ma'am. It's not sufficient. But do you know what is the contribution of central government? 4,500. Pittance. Pittance. The increase they did was in 2018. After that, nothing was done. All these schemes started as central schemes. None of the state government told them, please start this scheme. It was at the behest of their initiative. My only request to the government is that if you are unable to continue this scheme in a dignified way, just disperse the fund to the states. Let them do it on their own way, depending on the actual situation, reality of a state. Kerala, we could actually dismantle the fortress of feudalism because of education. Because of education. Now it's an era of enlightenment. I understand, ma'am. Please give me 2-3 minutes more. I will just wind up. Ma'am, Sudhaji was quoting profusely the Gita. You know, when Arjuna was reluctant in the field, that is Kurukshetra, paralyzed by doubt and fear, Krishna tells Arjuna, look, don't think about the past. You cannot change the past. You think about the present. Move ahead. I am requesting the government, please don't dwell in the past. Think about the present. Make sure that we have a generation which is groomed in scientific temper, with better education. Don't make them to indulge in superstitions. Give them a good education, secular education, ma'am, Sudhaji. Let them be scientific in their approach. Let them be redeemed. And there is a very important dialogue in a movie called Asura, when Dhanush is telling, look, we are from the downtrodden community. Whatever we have, they will actually steal all these things from them. Even our self-respect they will steal. They will steal our wealth, all the cultivation. As you rightly said, if you have education, it will empower us. Nobody will be in a position to steal those things from us. So I feel that the importance of the resolution of Sudhaji lies in the fact that we have to make sure that our children needs to be groomed in a way. Proper education and care should be imparted. At that time, we shouldn't forget those hapless women, lakhs and lakhs of people across the length and breadth of this nation who are toiling. I am talking about Anganwadi workers. If the government is little considerate towards Sudha Murthy ji and her resolution, if they are sincere in the cause, I feel that at the end of this discussion, when the Honorable Minister gets up to reply to her, she would declare that the honorarium of the Anganwadi workers would be increased at least by 5,000. Is it not a fact that the High Courts also ruled in favor? Don't make them somebody who goes around without dignity. Make them government workers, staff, employees. Let them have the dignity. If the teacher doesn't have the dignity, how can the children who are groomed will have the dignity? The self-respect is something which you impart, Sudhaji. That is something which you impart. So my request to Honorable Minister is that the activists who are working in this field have been meeting and interacting with the Honorable Minister, and I am sure that Honorable Minister, being erudite and ebullient, she is abreast of the nuances of this field. The only thing is that she needs to have a helping hand from the other side. I mean the powerful, the mighty. The political initiative should be there to help her also. I have one more thing. Ma'am, we talked about the facial recognition-based attendance verification, the portion tracker app. You know the difficulties. You know the difficulties about it. The rule is intrusive, impractical, and punitive, compelling women to depend on unreliable technology. You don't have internet in the rural belt. You want all these hapless women to toil to make sure that, see, don't make them somebody who steals things. They don't lie. They are poor people. They want to help our children. So please make sure that the grievances which have been made to you needs to be reciprocated because they are there to support your cause. Ma'am, you know what's happening in the educational sector. This is something which would be helpful to you also, ma'am, because in your part of the country also, this is happening. The primary education, that is very crucial. That also is part of this. There are a large number of government schools are being closed across the country. Large number. See, as per the report, last decade, government schools in India decreased by 8%, while private school grew by 14.9%. What does it mean? Our poor children do not have the ventilation for education. And you know, the statistics say that 89,441 government schools have been shut down in last 10 years, which is at nearly 73% of the schools which are shut down. Arun Singh ji, I want your indulgence. 73% of the schools which are shut are BJP ruled states. Don't you think so? Why don't you tell your colleagues in those states which are ruled by your party? We need to have the government schools. We shouldn't leave the children at the mercy of the private entrepreneurs who want to fleece the children. This is very important vertical for the country to grow. I feel that the minister also should advise that. So these are the areas which needs rectification, reformation, and I feel that Sudhaji has brought forward a resolution which is insightful enough to inspire all of us. Let this country be inspired. Moreover, let this government be inspired by your resolution. Thank you very much.
Honorable Member Shri Javed Ali Khan.
धन्यवाद सभाध्यक्ष जी। मैं माननीय सदस्य सुधा मूर्ति जी के द्वारा जो संकल्प सदन के समक्ष प्रस्तुत किया गया है उसके समर्थन में खड़ा हुआ हूं और मैं समझता हूं कि इस सदन के सभी तरफ से इस संकल्प के समर्थन में आवाज आ रही है। इसलिए माननीय मंत्री जी को इस चर्चा के अंत में बिना किसी परेशानी के इस संकल्प को स्वीकार कर लेना चाहिए और जो मांग इस संकल्प के जरिए की गई हैं उनको मान लेना चाहिए। ज्यादातर बातें सुधा जी ने अपने भाषण के दौरान कह दी और बाकी जो आवश्यक बातें थी हमारे साथियों ने अपने अपने भाषण के दौरान कही हैं। मैं बहुत कम समय में अपनी बात रखूंगा। छोटे बच्चों के लिए जो 3 साल से 6 वर्ष की आयु के बच्चे हैं जिनकी देखभाल का जिम्मा आमतौर पर हमारे तंत्र ने आंगनवाड़ी कार्यकर्ताओं और आंगनवाड़ी केंद्रों को दे रखा है, जब तक हम उनको सुदृढ़ नहीं करेंगे, मजबूत नहीं करेंगे, इस लक्ष्य को पाना जरा मुश्किल सा काम है। हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश में जो आंगनवाड़ी कार्यकर्ताओं की स्थिति है वो बहुत दयनीय है। 4,500 रुपए तो उन्हें केंद्र सरकार से मिलते हैं और मात्र 1,500 रुपए, 1,500 रुपए उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार उनके मानदेय के बतौर देती है। मैं समझता हूं कि इतनी रकम जो है वो जो हमारे देश में न्यूनतम मजदूरी की लिमिट है ये उससे भी कम है। और काम उनसे कितना लिया जाता है? काम आप ये समझ लीजिए कि बच्चों को साफ रखना, आंगनवाड़ी केंद्र की सफाई करना, उनका खाना बनाना और पूरे दिन की उनकी देखभाल करना, ये सब उनके ऊपर रहता है। बहुत ही कम उनका मानदेय है। अगर हम उन्हें सम्मानजनक मानदेय नहीं दे सकते हैं तो फिर अपेक्षा के अनुसार उनसे काम की भी उम्मीद हम नहीं कर सकते। शहरी क्षेत्रों में आंगनवाड़ी केंद्र बहुत कम है, ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में भी कम है, लेकिन ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में तो कुछ बने हैं और शहरी क्षेत्रों में उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर अधिकांश स्थानों पर किराए के मकानों में आंगनवाड़ी केंद्र चलाए जाते हैं और सरकार 750 रुपए महीना आंगनवाड़ी केंद्र का किराया देती है। मैं समझता हूं कि किसी भी कस्बे में क्या गांव में भी 750 रुपए में 1 या 2 कमरे का स्थान नहीं मिल सकता है। आंगनवाड़ी कार्यकर्तियों को कई बार तो अपने पास से या फिर बहुत ऐसी बस्तियों में जिन्हें हम मलिन बस्तियों के नाम से जानते हैं, जहां हाइजीन का कोई कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं होता, वहां संभव भी नहीं है, उन क्षेत्रों में आंगनवाड़ी केंद्र चलाने पड़ते हैं। सुधा जी ने अपने प्रारंभिक उद्बोधन के दौरान एक बात कही कि एजुकेशन में इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं तो वो एक अरसे के बाद 13% बढ़ता है और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में करते हैं तो वो 2.5% बढ़ता है। उनकी इस बात को उन लोगों ने भली भांति समझ लिया जो एजुकेशन को कमर्शलाइज करना चाहते हैं। आप सरकार की इन्वेस्टमेंट की बात कर रही थी, देश के इन्वेस्टमेंट की बात कर रही थी, लेकिन लोग व्यापार करने लगे हैं, स्कूलों का, शिक्षा का कमर्शलाइज कर रहे हैं एजुकेशन को, और छोटे बच्चों के देखभाल के लिए भी गलियों में, शहरों कस्बों में खास तौर से प्ले स्कूल के नाम से स्कूल खोले जा रहे हैं, जिसमें ये छोटी आयु के बच्चों को सिर्फ मुनाफा कमाने के लिए वो लोग कर रहे हैं। मैं समझता हूं कि वैसे तो सरकार को शिक्षा का काम हर स्तर पर अपने हाथ में ही लेना चाहिए था, इसमें निजीकरण नहीं होना चाहिए था, व्यवसायीकरण नहीं होना चाहिए था, लेकिन कम से कम आयु के बच्चों को प्राइमरी एजुकेशन तक या स्कूल एजुकेशन तक, या ये छोटी जो 3 साल से 6 साल के बच्चों की जो देखभाल है, इसका काम तो एक्सक्लूसिवली सरकार को सारा खर्चा अपने ऊपर बियर करके हर वर्ग के बच्चों के लिए करना चाहिए था। मैं आंगनवाड़ी जैसे कार्यकर्ताओं की परिस्थिति है, वैसी ही स्थिति जो आंगनवाड़ी से निकल करके प्राइमरी स्कूल में जाते हैं, उन बच्चों की देखभाल करने वालों की भी है। वहां स्कूलों के अंदर एक रसोइया नाम की चीज होती है, प्राइमरी स्कूलों के अंदर उनको इतनी कम वेतन दिया जाता है, 2000 रुपए महीना एक रसोइया को सरकार देती है, और एक रसोइया उन प्राइमरी स्कूलों में जो 3 साल से 6 साल के आसपास के बच्चे हैं, 50 बच्चों का खाना बनाते हैं। एक रसोइया, ज्यादातर महिलाएं हैं उसमें और ज्यादातर कमजोर वर्गों की महिलाएं हैं। 2000 रुपए में 50 बच्चों का खाना एक महिला रोजाना बनाती है। आज घर में भी 2 बच्चों का और 4 आदमियों का खाना बनाने के लिए 2000 रुपए महीना का कर्मचारी हमें नहीं मिल सकता है। तो मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि अगर हम इस तंत्र को, इस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को, जो छोटे बच्चों को शिक्षा और उनकी देखभाल करने के लिए, उनके बचपन को और उनकी शिक्षा की देखभाल करने के लिए, यानी ECCE के लिए जरूरी है, इसको हमें मजबूत करना पड़ेगा। और इसके अंदर जो कार्यकर्ता काम करते हैं उनको सम्मानजनक तरीके से सरकार को उनके साथ व्यवहार करना पड़ेगा। इसलिए मैं उम्मीद कर सकता हूं कि आज चूंकि बहुत दिनों के बाद ऐसा कोई मैं प्रस्ताव या संकल्प देख रहा हूं सदन के अंदर जिस पर सबकी राय एक है, सरकार को इस संकल्प को स्वीकार कर लेना चाहिए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका।
Honorable Member Dr. Fawzia Khan.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, ma'am, I must first of all fully associate with Srimati Sudha Murthy ji. I stand with the resolution which she has brought and I want to speak on it. Ma'am, I must also thank you for having brought in such an important subject here. This resolution, ma'am, opens a vital conversation on the foundations of India's human capital. Vikasit Bharat cannot be Vikasit at all without quality education. And this phase of education, early childhood education, is the foundation, is the most important phase of education, I feel. And here we need maximum emphasis. It beautifully aligns our care for every child with the promise of the Constitution and our deepest moral duty to nurture their innocent dreams. Ma'am, it comes at a crucial time when early childhood care and education faces neglect, ultimately impacting the future of our education. If the foundation of education is strong, the building that is built upon this foundation will be strong. But this is where the future of our children is not taken proper care of. India, ma'am, is a signatory to the UN Convention on the Rights of the Education in 1989 and Education for All in 1990, both prioritizing ECCE as learning begins at birth. Not only at birth, at conception, it is said. The Indian Early Childhood Education Impact Study proves that quality ECCE yields higher learning levels, positioning it at the most potent lever against our learning crisis. We are in a learning crisis, ma'am, today. Neuroscience underscores this urgency, as ma'am has also pointed out in her resolution, that 85% of the brain development occurs at the age of 3. Now, where 85% of intellectual development takes place, I think our maximum focus, our maximum attention has to be at that age, because this is the most formative age of a human being's life. And just imagine the importance. I'm happy that the NEP speaks about it for the first time. There is emphasis on early childhood education in the NEP. Ma'am, yet the public spending compounds the crisis. Mere 0.1% of the GDP on early childhood care and education. So this has caused a stark paradox. While you say in your NEP that this is the most important learning phase, you also spend 0.01% on it. Data reveals, moreover, ma'am, data reveals that 51% of children from the lowest strata attend Anganwadi centers, while 62% from the highest strata opt for private facilities, making a great quality shortfall, a structural disadvantage for the most marginalized. Our Anganwadi system can focus more on health and care, nutrition, but not on the educational and development aspect. They are not prepared for it. Most private ECCE institutions that charge huge amounts of money have a better developed curriculum, better qualifications for caregivers with necessary expertise in handling or imparting learning through a scientific, age-appropriate, informal approach. They give better trainings to caregivers, the better infrastructure facilities. How can that match the level that is there in our Anganwadis? And even in urban slums, for that matter, ma'am. In several private ECCE centers, there is focus on formal education. I mean, on rote learning. This is another paradox, the other end of it. So there is no uniformity anywhere. Our childhood education demands much, much, much more focus and attention of the government at this phase of learning. What we need, ma'am, is uniformity in curriculum, standards, qualifications, trainings. There is no uniformity anywhere. In this phase of education, people are doing what they want. I think Swati Maliwal spoke about the Japanese and the Finland model. Finland is supposed to be the world's best education system. In Finland, ma'am, do you know what are the qualifications of teachers for early childhood education? A postgraduate degree in early childhood education is fundamental, is required, mandatory there. And we are happy with class 12. This is a big disparity. Ma'am, the teacher-pupil ratio, since this is a specialized field, it needs research, it needs a lot of scientific analysis of a child's psychology, of the way the child is handled, of how through play the child is taught, how learning takes place. Ma'am, all this is not there if you just limit it to the Anganwadi centers. So the first thing is there, ma'am. Anganwadis are very good for care and nutrition, for health, for immunization. They also have to cook food, they have to do so many other jobs. Along with it, they are teaching. How can that be so casual? We need to have, and besides this, ma'am, the NEP, you have made class 1 and class 2 as part of pre-primary. Class 1 and 2 are under the ambit of school education department, and Anganwadis are under the ambit, ma'am, of the women and child development. So how is it this clash we are handling? I don't know, under the different ministries, but I think the whole education side has to come under the ambit of school education department. And if we are giving Anganwadis the responsibility to teach also, I think there should be additional employment there, additional employment of teachers. Here is where we have to invest. Don't shy away from this investment. This is a very important investment for our country. Only then we can become Vikasit Bharat. We need to have a pre-primary education board so that we have all uniformity on all aspects. Ma'am, we need to have a ECCE special cadre. I'm through you, I wish to tell the minister sitting here. We need to have a special cadre of caregivers who teach, who have, ma'am, at least the qualification which is B.Ed plus early childhood education or something like that, but something which has a research base on childhood, on the growth of children. You have to also enforce regulation on private institutions that run early childhood education centers, because this is a very, very sporadically run field. We need to have control over it, because it's the future of our children, ma'am. 3 valuable years, age 3 to 6, formative years, we cannot take so casually. We need to take very, very crucial decisions here. Ma'am Sudha Murthy, I am very happy with your resolution, but I wish to give some suggestions here in the sense that, okay, you bring it under RTE, as she said, you should be bringing it under RTE, but also you need new employment for this teaching side of the children in Anganwadis. It cannot be the same force, because it's a different skill. It's a different kind of an expertise that is needed, and we are not catering to that. Only a 6-month training will not be adequate for that. What we are doing is we are just saying 6-month training and she's ready to teach. So I urge the government to adopt this resolution, but we have to make early childhood care and education a fundamental right, and the government must invest heavily. This much amount is not enough, very, very heavily in this sector, so that we see the revolution that they are talking about, Vikasit Bharat. If really this has to happen, we need to act here, and this is my appeal to the House. Thank you.
Honorable Member Shri Mayank Kumar Nayak.
Thank you, Deputy Ma'am. आज इस आंगनवाड़ी रिजोल्यूशन सुधा मूर्ति जी लाई है, मैं उनका समर्थन करता हूं। देश का भविष्य और आने वाली पीढ़ी को जो हमारे बच्चे हैं, गांव गरीब और शहरों में भी गरीब मध्यम वर्ग के बच्चे भी इस देश का भविष्य है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी विकसित भारत का लक्ष्य लेके पूरा देश आगे बढ़ रहा है, तब ये आंगनवाड़ी के जो 14 लाख आंगनवाड़ी है उसको सभी बच्चे हैं उसको सही शिक्षा मिले, उसको उसकी हेल्थ की चिंता हो, उसको स्वास्थ्य की चिंता के साथ अपने परिवार के जो लोग, खास करके जो लोग मेहनत मजदूरी करने जाते हैं, उनके परिवार के लोग ज्यादा से ज्यादा आंगनवाड़ी के बच्चों में आंगनवाड़ी में आते हैं। बच्चों के माँ बाप रोजी रोटी कमाने जाते हैं, तब उसके बच्चों को मानसिक और शारीरिक रूप से तैयार करने की जिम्मेवारी राज्य और केंद्र सरकार लेता है। तब ये आंगनवाड़ी की बहनें न केवल बच्चों के परिवार से जुड़ती है, बल्कि माँ जब उसका बच्चा आंगनवाड़ी में छोड़ के जाता है, आशा वर्कर बहन के पास छोड़ के जाता है, तब वो 3-4 घंटे के लिए वो हर बच्चे की माँ बनके उसकी चिंता करती है और उसके खाने का ध्यान रखती है, उसके खेलने के लिए खिलौने भी देती है और बच्चा कैसे प्री एजुकेशन के लिए तैयार हो उसके लिए भी तैयार ख्याल रखती है। मेरा यह मानना है कि मजबूत भारत और शिक्षित भारत और तंदुरुस्त भारत बनाने के लिए आंगनवाड़ी का आधुनिकीकरण भी होना चाहिए, उसका खुद का मकान भी होना चाहिए और इन मकानों के माध्यम से जो बच्चे आने वाली नींव है, देश का भविष्य है। हम अच्छी बिल्डिंग बनाते हैं तो नींव पक्की रखते हैं, जब हम पेड़ पौधों को उगाते हैं तो उसके मूल में पानी जाए, उसको खाद्य मिले, उसकी चिंता करते हैं। वैसे बच्चे हमारे भविष्य का, हमारे देश का भविष्य है, जो आने वाले देश में, अपने देश में प्रगति को पथ पर ले जाने की जिन पे जिम्मेवारी है, उसको मजबूत करने की जिम्मेवारी हमारी सबकी है। पिछले 12 वर्षों से माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी आंगनवाड़ी हो या प्राइमरी स्कूल हो, उनके पढ़ाई की तो चिंता करते हैं, मगर उनकी हेल्थ की भी चिंता करते हैं और सभी बच्चों की हेल्थ की चेकअप होती है और जो बच्चों में हेल्थ की खामी पाई जाती है उसी बच्चों का इलाज सरकारी खर्चे से कैसे हो, वैसे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री का कार्यक्रम चलता है। ये आंगनवाड़ी में बच्चा जो सही शिक्षा और आरोग्य में मिले, उसे चिंता करने से माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी अच्छा परिवार हो और परिवार में मां भी स्वस्थ रहे। इसलिए प्रधानमंत्री ने जब देश के लाल किले से कहा था कि मैं जिस घर में शौचालय नहीं है वहां शौचालय बनाऊंगा, जिसके लिए जो माँ को, जो अपनी बहनों को तकलीफ होती थी, जिसके कारण माँ का स्वास्थ्य अगर बिगड़ता है तो बच्चे का भी स्वास्थ्य बिगड़ता है, उसी को लेते हुए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री ने पूरे देश में शौचालय हर घर में बने, उसके लिए भी एक मुहिम चलाई थी। वैसे ही उज्ज्वला योजना के माध्यम से माँ बहनें जब अपना रसोई बनाती है तो कहीं सिगरेट का धुआं माँ के शरीर में जाता है, तो जब तक माँ स्वस्थ नहीं रहेगी बच्चा भी स्वस्थ नहीं रहेगा। वैसे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सोच रखी थी और उसी सोच के कारण करोड़ों घर में शौचालय बने, करोड़ों घरों को उज्ज्वला योजना के माध्यम से गैस का सिलेंडर मिला और वो परिवार हेल्थ के लिए सुरक्षित हो, उसी केंद्र सरकार ने एक चिंता की है और उसके क्षेत्र में काम किया है। स्वास्थ्य और परिवहन के लिए गुजरात सरकार आंगनवाड़ी के माध्यम से गरीब परिवारों की गर्भवती माताएं हो, धात्री बहनें हो एवं किशोरियों के लिए बहुत चिंतित है और आने वाली पीढ़ियों को कुपोषित ना हो, इसीलिए पोषण, खुराक एवं दवाएं वो भी आंगनवाड़ी के माध्यम से सरकारें उपलब्ध कराती है। हमारे गुजरात में आंगनवाड़ी की बच्चे और प्राइमरी स्कूलों के बच्चों को 300 मिलीग्राम दूध संजीवनी योजना के माध्यम से भी सरकार देती है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी पूरे देश में सभी आंगनवाड़ियों के मकान और उनके बच्चों को दे जाने वाली व्यवस्था जैसे खिलौना हो, खाना हो, फ्रूट्स हो और आरोग्य कवच प्रदान करने का जो काम कर रहे हैं उसको सुदृढ़ करने के लिए मैं आज ये बात माननीय सरकार के सामने रख रहा हूं। माननीय सभापति जी, बच्चों का जीवन जन्म से लेकर 6 वर्ष तक सबसे महत्वपूर्ण होता है और इसी उम्र में बच्चे का दिमाग, उसकी भाषा, उसका व्यवहार सीखने की क्षमता और उसका स्वास्थ्य सबकी नींव पड़ती है। अगर इस समय में सही पोषण, सही देखभाल और सही सीख मिले तो बच्चा आगे चलकर एक स्वस्थ, आत्मविश्वासी और सक्षम नागरिक बन सकता है। आंगनवाड़ी देश की सबसे बड़ी ताकत है। माननीय सभापति जी, आंगनवाड़ी में व्यवस्था देश भर में करीब 14 लाख आंगनवाड़ी है और ये दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा बाल विकास कार्यक्रम है। आंगनवाड़ी केंद्र सिर्फ भोजन देने के स्थान नहीं है, ये बच्चों को सबसे अच्छी बात है कि कोई भी बच्चा आंगनवाड़ी आए उसे सभी सेवाएं निःशुल्क उपलब्ध करा दी जाती है। सरकार की मजबूत नीति और सोच, हमारे संविधान का अनुच्छेद 45 भी कहता है कि 6 वर्ष तक बच्चों को देखभाल और शिक्षा देना राज्य की जिम्मेदारी है। नई शिक्षा नीति 2020 के में भी साफ कहा गया है कि हर बच्चा जब कक्षा 1 में जाए तो स्कूल के लिए पूरी तरह तैयार हो। इस सोच के साथ मिशन सक्षम आंगनवाड़ी और पोषण 2.0 शुरू किया गया है, जिसका मतलब है कि बच्चों का पोषण, स्वास्थ्य और शुरुआती शिक्षा तीनों के एक साथ मजबूत करना होता है। पोषण भी, पढ़ाई भी एक बड़ा बदलाव है। 10 मई 2023 को शुरू गई ये योजना खूब सराहनीय है। इसका उद्देश्य यह है कि आंगनवाड़ी केंद्र राशन वितरण का केंद्र न रहकर लेकिन लर्निंग सेंटर बने, जहां बच्चा खेलता भी है, सीखता भी है और आत्मविश्वास भी पाता है। इसके लिए आंगनवाड़ी केंद्रों को खेल और पढ़ाई का सामान दिया जाता है, बजट बढ़ाया गया है और सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात, आंगनवाड़ी के कार्यकर्ताओं को भी प्रशिक्षण दिया जाता है। महोदय, देश की आंगनवाड़ी कार्यकर्ता इस पूरी व्यवस्था की रीढ़ है। अगर उन्हें सही प्रशिक्षण, सम्मान और सहयोग मिलेगा तो ये योजना जमीन पर सफलता होगी। 0 से 3 और 3 से 6 साल के लिए बच्चों का खास ध्यान रखने के लिए सरकार ने नवचेतन पहल की है। माता पिता को यह सीखती है कि बच्चों को कैसे बात करे, कैसे खेले और कैसे प्यार से उसकी देखभाल करे। 3 से 6 साल के बच्चों के लिए आधारशिला पाठ्यक्रम खेल आधारित शिक्षा पर भी जोर देता है। कहानी, गीत, चित्रकला, खेल और गतिविधियों के माध्यम से इस बच्चे की पढ़ाई बोझ ना बने और खुशी से आंगनवाड़ी में पढ़ सके, इसकी व्यवस्था पर सरकार करती है। दिव्यांग बच्चों के लिए सरकार ने आंगनवाड़ी में प्रोटोकॉल बनाया है ताकि उनकी जल्द पहचान हो, उन्हें बाकी बच्चों से साथ जोड़ा जाए और जरूरत पड़ने उसका सही इलाज तक उसको पहुंचाया जाए। यह सरकार बहुत सकारात्मक कदम है, लेकिन इसके लिए जरूरी है कि जिला स्तर पर डॉक्टर, विशेषज्ञ, रेफरल व्यवस्था भी मजबूती से काम कर रही है। नई शिक्षा नीति के तहत आंगनवाड़ी और प्राथमिक स्कूलों को साथ जोड़ने की पहल एक दूरदर्शी निर्णय है। आंगनवाड़ी से स्कूल में जाते समय घबराता नहीं बल्कि सहज रूप से आगे बढ़ता है। मैं सरकार के प्रयासों का समर्थन करता हूं, कुछ सुझाव भी रखना चाहता हूं। आंगनवाड़ी केंद्रों की गुणवत्ता पर लगातार निगरानी रखी जाए। आंगनवाड़ी कार्यकर्ताओं को निरंतर प्रशिक्षण और प्रोत्साहन मिले और दूर दराज और ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और मजबूत किया जाए। डिजिटल योजनाओं में नेटवर्क और उपकरणों की समस्या दूर की जाए। ये मैं आपके सामने रखता हूं। और आज माननीय सुधा मूर्ति जी द्वारा जो ये रिजोल्यूशन लाया है, मैं उनका समर्थन करता हूं और देश के बच्चों का भविष्य उज्जवल और सुनिश्चित हो, उसकी कामना करता हूं।
Honorable Member Srimati J.B. Mathur Hisham.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. The respected member Sudha Murthy ji has brought the resolution, which is definitely we are discussing the future of early childhood education in India, and is very welcome. As much as I appreciate and support the resolution, I wish to place on before the House the concerns as well. At a time when the world recognizes early childhood as the most critical phase of human development, our nation is witnessing an unfortunate distortion of both policy intent and educational purpose. The National Education Policy 2020 places early childhood care and education at the heart of India's educational vision, at least that is being told. It acknowledges that early years from ages 3 to 8 form the foundational stage. Not just that, it recognizes that the first years determine the learning outcomes for the rest of life. Moreover, our Constitution, through the Directive Principles and Right to Education Act, Section 11, brought by UPA government, clearly mandates early childhood care and education as an essential component of the educational framework. These are not optional provisions. They reflect a constitutional promise, a promise of India's youngest citizens. But, Madam, what happens when sound policy is hijacked by narrow political interest? What happens when early childhood education becomes a soft target for ideological imprinting? What happens when the innocence of children is exploited as a laboratory of manufacturing loyal minds? Today, the early childhood care education framework is being used not for nurturing curiosity and compassion, but for cultivating conformity to a single political ideology. The nation is concerned about what is going to take place under the shield of promoting early childhood education. The ground reality today is deeply disturbing. Instead of strengthening scientific pedagogy, the nation sees centralized content control over early childhood learning materials, politicized narratives inserted into picture books and fundamental curricula, lingering attempts to rewrite cultural memory through saffronized storytelling, the use of early childhood spaces to sanitize caste narratives and distort history, rather than nurturing independent thinking. We are encouraging premature ideological imprinting. Regarding this, the distorting history, now I wish to say about something which this Parliament, this Rajya Sabha, this House discussed few days back very in detail. How history is being used or being created by the ruling dispensation is an example which I wish to give. When wrong facts are being brought in and made to look like they are the real history. I wish to ask that the invention of date of composition of Vande Mataram on Akshaya Navami, 7th November 1885. There is no historical record that Vande Mataram was written on 7th November 1885. It is BJP's invention. Recently, the Parliament and country witnessed how this ruling dispensation is creating history in that. Let me explain. First, subject is this: how the young minds are being corrupted is the big discussion that is being happening. The fundamental, if you make it a fundamental right. Madam, first the government created the story as to when Bankim Chandra Chatterjee wrote Vande Mataram.
Whatever is there on the subject will not go on record.
Madam, in the press release given by government last month, to be precise, on 6th November, it said Bankim Chandra Chatterjee on 7th November 1875, that is on the day of Akshaya Navami, Vande Mataram was
Kindly
written.
speak on the subject.
And that is how they create. And Vande Mataram as part of literary journal, as part of Anand Madam novel. And thereafter, on 7th November 2025, Prime Minister inaugurated 150th year of Vande Mataram. So how is it history in question? Let me explain. Those who have...
1 second, please. Point of order.
Ma'am, how the young minds are getting corrupted is what I'm saying. We are talking about future of education in our country. And let me explain.
अरे वो बोले उसका स्वागत है मगर आंगनवाड़ी पे बोले
Madam.
Mike.
Chatterjee, we had 2 full days of discussion. So what is the sanctity of this discussion today then? Then we have Rule 110 clearly speaks this. Ma'am, this should be deleted from the record.
Kindly speak on the subject. Whatever is not on the subject will not go on record. Please continue. Please continue.
So I wish to say, ma'am, the history is being changed when even Sabyasachi Bhattacharya, who knows in and out of Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, has not said that it is on this day or in this Akshaya Navami it is written. Why Prime Minister and the government has said that? So only point I wish to say that they try to deviate the history.
On the subject will not go on record.
Ma'am, so again coming back to early child care, this centralized content and not giving the real content is definitely affecting, and so this cannot go on. So as far as we are concerned, the saffronized historical content, books for kindergarten and foundational classes are beginning to carry selective stories glorifying one cultural stream while ignoring India's plural heritage. Sir, ma'am, secondly, sanitization of science. Instead of encouraging scientific temperament as mandated by our constitution, early education introduced concepts that blur the line between the mythology and evidence-based knowledge. Ma'am, third, marginalization of minority cultures. The diversity that defines India is reduced. So all these I'm trying to convey the message. When we are talking about early education and care for children, we should be concerned about what they are being taught. Definitely that period of 6 years, below 6 years is a age where the brain develops. They should be given the knowledge priority. I agree with Sudha Murthy ji when she says it should be the fundamental right. Definitely it should be made a fundamental right. They are our future. They are the future of our country. But when facts are being distorted, when the history is not being said in the way it should be said, we fear that even at the age of 6 years, below 6 years also, they are being affected. So even though who deals with these people, these 6-year students, 6-year children, they take care of Anganwadi workers. What is the plight of Anganwadi workers? They keep asking for more wage increase, but that doesn't happen in our country. Ma'am, and also I wish to say another thing is when we are talking about early childhood care, as a citizen of India, I am concerned also about when the government says, Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao, they say that slogan, but what happens to the little girls that 2 weeks back, a 6-year-old was raped in Madhya Pradesh. We have not forgotten how the girl, one 8-month-old baby was raped in the national capital. We have not forgotten what happened to Katwa girl. So the education is important. Their well-being is important, protection is important, safety is important. So as far as we are concerned, the fundamental right to life, that fundamental, to change this right to education till the age of 6 years, it should be definitely made a fundamental right. We support it. At the same time, we should also make sure that what is the correct method of teaching should be given to the children while providing that necessary care. I appreciate Sudha Murthy ji for bringing this resolution in the interest of the children, millions of children in our country. Thank you.
Honorable Member Shri R. Girirajan, you will speak in Tamil.
Thank you, Madam. First, I congratulate Madam Sudha Murthy to move the following resolution. Actually, Tamil poet Thiruvalluvar has written a separate chapter containing 10 couplets about the importance of the good education 2000 years ago. கேடில் விழிச்செல்வம் கல்வி ஒருவருக்கு மாடல்ல மற்றையவை. The wealth which can never decline is not riches but learning. We have talked about the Anganwadis. In our country, நம்முடைய நாட்டில் அங்கன்வாடிகளோட நிலை எப்படி இருக்கு? 50 ஆண்டுகள் ஆகிவிட்டது. அங்கன்வாடிகள் தொடக்கப்பட்டு அங்கன்வாடிகளிலே பிள்ளைகளை கொண்டு போய் சேர்ப்பதற்கு மக்கள் தயங்குகின்ற சூழ்நிலை உருவாகிவிட்டது. ஏனென்றால் அங்கன்வாடிகளோட நிலைமை மிகவும் மோசமாக இருக்கிறது. சரியான கட்டிடங்கள் இல்லை, சரியான குடிநீர் கழிவுநீர் வசதி இல்லை, குழந்தைகளுக்கு சத்தான உணவு வழங்கப்படுவதில்லை, அங்கன்வாடி ஆசிரியர்களுக்கு சரியான ஊதியம் இல்லை, அங்கன்வாடி உதவியாளர்களுக்கும் சரியான ஊதியம் இல்லை. இது இப்போது அளிக்கப்படுகின்ற ஊதியம் குறைந்தபட்ச கூலியை விட, குறைந்தபட்ச ஊதியத்தை விட, மினிமம் வேஜஸ் ஆக்டை விட குறைவாக இருக்கிறது. அதனால்தான் நான் இந்த நேரத்திலே வலியுறுத்தி சொல்வது என்னவென்றால், அங்கன்வாடிகளை அந்தந்த மாநில அரசிடம் ஒப்படையுங்கள். மாநில அரசுகள் நல்ல கல்வியை அளித்து வருகிறார்கள். அது முதல் வகுப்பிலிருந்து அப் டு +2 வரையாக இருந்தாலும், கல்லூரி படிப்பாக இருந்தாலும், அந்தந்த மாநில அரசு சிறப்பான கல்வியை வழங்கும் போது அங்கன்வாடிகளை பராமரிப்பது ஒன்றும் கஷ்டமான பணி அல்ல. அந்தந்த மாநிலத்திற்கு ஏற்ப அந்தந்த மாநிலத்தின் மொழிகளிலே அங்கன்வாடி குழந்தைகளுக்கு கல்வி கற்றுத் தருவதற்கு அது ஏதுவாக இருக்கும். தமிழ்நாட்டிலே Dravidian model government run by M.K. Stalin has initiated several path-breaking schemes and innovative inclusive policies for promoting education among the poor people. அங்கன்வாடிகளிலே 50 ஆண்டுகளுக்கு முன்பாக அங்கன்வாடிகளிலே ஏன் உருவாக்கினோம்? அனைத்து மக்களும் அவருடைய குழந்தைகளை கொண்டு போய் அங்கன்வாடியிலே சேர்த்தார்கள். இன்றைய சூழ்நிலை அப்படியா இருக்கிறது? குழந்தைகளை கிண்டர் கார்டன் கொண்டுட்டு போறோம். மோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் தி parents, they are admitting their children in kindergarten schools. அதற்கு அப்பாற்பட்டு கிரிச் குழந்தைகளை கொண்டு போய் கிரிச்ல சேர்க்கிறோம். ஆனால் அங்கன்வாடிகளே யார் வருகிறார்கள்? சமுதாயத்திலே பிற்படுத்தப்பட்ட, ஒடுக்கப்பட்ட, தாழ்த்தப்பட்ட, அண்டர் பிரிவிலேஜ்டு பீப்புள் அங்கன்வாடிகளுக்கு வருகின்ற நேரத்திலே அவர்களுக்கு ஒரு சரியான வழிகாட்டுதல்களை, சரியான உற்சாகத்தை, ஊக்கத்தை அளிக்க வேண்டிய இந்த மத்திய அரசு எந்த விதமான உதவிகளும் செய்யாததால் அங்கன்வாடிகளுடைய நிலைமை மிகவும் மோசமாக இருக்கிறது. அதனால்தான் நான் இந்த நேரத்திலே சுதா மூர்த்தியால் கொண்டு வந்த தீர்மானத்தின் மேலே என்னுடைய கருத்துக்களை சொல்லுகின்ற நேரத்திலே அங்கன்வாடிகளை நீங்கள் மாநில அரசிடம் ஒப்படையுங்கள், அதற்கான நிதியை கொடுங்கள். நாங்கள் நல்ல விதமாக அதை பேணி காத்துக் கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். One of the most powerful tools and popular schemes implemented by the Tamil Nadu government, incentivizing the 1,000 rupees to girl students who passed out from government and girl students studying in Tamil medium in aided schools to pursue the higher education. புதுமை பெண் இந்த திட்டம் கொண்டு வந்தது தமிழ்நாடு அரசாங்கம். பெண் பிள்ளைகள் உயர்கல்வி படிக்க வேண்டும் என்பதற்காக 1000 ரூபாயை அவர்கள் கல்லூரி முடிக்கின்ற வரையில் அளிக்கின்ற அரசு தமிழ்நாடு அரசு. அதை போல மாணவர்களுக்கும் 1000 ரூபாய் அளித்து இன்றைக்கு கல்வியை நாங்கள் வளர்த்துக் கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். அதனால்தான் நான் மீண்டும் வலியுறுத்தி கேட்கிறேன், அங்கன்வாடி மையங்களை தமிழ்நாடாக இருந்தாலும் அகில இந்திய அளவிலாக இருந்தாலும் ஒரு கொள்கை முடியை எடுங்கள். அனைத்து அங்கன்வாடிகளையும் நீங்கள் மாநில அரசிடம் ஒப்படையுங்கள். தமிழ்நாட்டிலே அவர் Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu M.K. Stalin on 7/5/2022 under Rule 110 announced that breakfast will be provided for primary school children for 1 to 5th standard. 1வது வகுப்பிலிருந்து 5வது வகுப்பு வரையில மாணவர்களுக்கு இலவசமாக காலை சிற்றுண்டி அளிக்கிறோம். காலை சிற்றுண்டி ஏன் அளிக்கிறோம்? வேலை வாய்ப்புக்கு செல்லுகின்ற பெற்றோர்கள் காலையிலே வேலைக்கு செல்கின்ற நேரத்தில் படிக்கின்ற பிள்ளைகள், அதாவது நீங்க சொல்ற 5 வயதிலிருந்து 12 வயது வரையிலே பிரைமரி ஸ்கூல்ல படிக்கின்ற பிள்ளைகளுக்கு உணவு கிடைக்காது, பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட் டிஃபன் கிடைக்காது. அதற்காக அவர்களுக்கு பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட் ஸ்கீமை தமிழ்நாடு அரசு இன்றைக்கு கொண்டு வந்து in government schools on all school working days, and the scheme has been launched on 15/9/22 at Madurai by the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. The first phase, corporation, municipalities, panchayats were selected based on the higher prevalence of anemia. As per the NHFS 5 data, economically backward blocks as per SBGF, habitations of tribal population and inaccessibility of the areas will be covered under this scheme. 1,14,095 primary schools has been covered under the scheme. Children studying in 1,545 government schools will be covered under this scheme at a total cost of 33.56 crores, which will be extended for remaining schools in the phased manner. ஏன் சொல்கிறேன் என்றால், இந்தியாவிலேயே முதல் முறையாக தமிழ்நாட்டில் தான் 1வது வகுப்பிலிருந்து 5வது வகுப்பு வரையில படிக்கின்ற பிள்ளைகளுக்கு காலை உணவு திட்டத்தை வழங்கிய முதல் மாநிலம் இந்தியாவிலே தமிழ்நாடு. எங்களை பார்த்து தான் இன்றைக்கு கனடாவிலே இந்த திட்டத்தை பயன்படுத்தி காலை உணவு திட்டத்தை இன்றைக்கு இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ணியிருக்காங்கன்னா, அதனால் தான் சொல்கிறேன், உங்களால் நடத்த முடியாது அங்கன்வாடிகளை எங்களிடத்திலே ஒப்படையுங்கள். We will take care of it. Because 1வது வகுப்பு முதல் 12வது வகுப்பு வரையில பிள்ளைகளை நாங்கள் பாதுகாக்கிறோம். ஏன் எங்களால் 3 வயதிலிருந்து 6 வயது பாதுகாக்க முடியாதா என்ன? அதனால்தான் மீண்டும் இந்த நேரத்திலே வலியுறுத்தி கேட்கிறேன், அங்கன்வாடியிலே பிள்ளைகளுக்கு நல்ல எதிர்காலத்தை உருவாக்க வேண்டியது அங்கன்வாடிகள். அந்த பிள்ளைகளுக்கு கல்வியை போதிக்க வேண்டும், ஒழுக்கத்தை போதிக்க வேண்டும், அவர்களுக்கு உலகத்தை சொல்லித்தர வேண்டும் என்றால் அதற்கு அவருடைய தாய்மொழியில் சொல்லிக் கொடுத்தால் தான் சரியாக வரும். அதனால் தான் கேட்கிறேன், நீங்கள் அங்கன்வாடி பள்ளிகளை எங்களிடத்திலே ஒப்படையுங்கள். Before I conclude, I would like to remind the people who designed the NEP 2020 is not suitable throughout the vast country like India. It may suit the Hindi heartland only, but states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala are marching well ahead without the NEP. The success of any government lies in providing quality, purposeful education. படிப்பு, பண்பாடு, பயனுள்ள வாழ்க்கை என்பது எங்களது தமிழ்நாட்டின் தாரக மந்திரம். Madam, I would urge the Union government to follow the Tamil Nadu state education policy and the innovative, inclusive scheme to achieve the desired results throughout the nation. Thank you.
Honorable Member Shri Rajendra Gupta, maiden speech.
It's not a maiden speech, it's only resolution. I will not like to take a maiden speech. I'll take a maiden speech somewhere else.
Okay.
Honorable Chair, respected Ma'am, I raise to wholeheartedly support the private member's resolution, Madam Sudha Murthy ji, immense, timely and visionary proposal to introduce a new Article 21B, guaranteed free and compulsory early childhood care and education for every child between 3 and 6 of age. Ma'am, this is not merely a legal amendment, it is a scientific necessity. Over 85% children brain developed is complete by the age of 6. These early years shape language, emotional regulations, social behavior. If we miss these years, we miss the child. Ma'am, in India, the Anganwadi system is very core of our early childhood care and education. Our most important platform for reaching children in their foundation years. This year, as the Anganwadi system completes 50 years, is worth recalling that how it begins with just 33 pilot project in 75 and grown to the world's largest early childhood network. Over a century ago, India made visionary decision. The nourishment, health and early learning must come together under one roof. That early childhood care cannot be fragmented. That शुरुआत ही देश की दिशा तय करती है. Today we have 13.96 lakh Anganwadi centers, the backbone of our early childhood efforts. But only 10 lakh operates under government communities buildings. More than 3 lakh centers still function from rented rooms, open, cramped, temporary and simply unsuitable to others. At the facility gaps highlight the everyday struggle. 47% Anganwadi centers lack piped water. 27% lacks functional toilets. 28% lack functional kitchens. And 95% lack solar-powered electricity. Even in these conditions, Anganwadi workers and helpers shoulder more than 20 responsibilities, right from nutrition, immunization, early learning, home visit and community mobilization, and maintain exhaustive record. In many states, they are further burdened with election duties and survey works. If we are at the constitutional guarantee under Article 21B, then we must first generate that very hand that delivered that right. Ma'am, I wish to highlight two areas that are often overlooked: early childhood care, disability and rare diseases. According to Census 2011, India has more than 2.86 persons with disability, including lack of children below 6. But while the Right of a Person with Disability Act 2016 Act guarantee free education from 6 to 18, children below 6 remain outside the protective framework. At the same time, early 70% rare diseases appear in early childhood, many within the first month of life. Delay in detection, often 3 to 7 years, caused irreversible neurological damage, preventable disability, loss of development milestones, and economical burden on the family. In practice, both groups face the same challenge. The 0 to 6 window is the most critical for intervention, yet the most special schools start only from 6. Private therapy is unaffordable. Anganwadi lack trained special educator, screening tools, and supportive system. Ma'am, there are more than 25 lakh children with a special need in schools, but barely 12,000 trained special educators are in the entire country. Meanwhile, thousands of infants and toddlers with rare disease are left without life-saving therapy because treatment is inaccessible and quite expensive. In Article 21B, if Article 21B is very meaningful, ECCE must include early screening, early intervention, and support for children with disability and rare disease unlikely. Ma'am, beyond infrastructure, beyond workforce, beyond health, there are larger philosophical questions before us. What kind of early childhood we are emphasizing for India? Across countries like Japan, Finland, and Scandinavia nations, early childhood is not only limited to ABC and numbers. They focus on self-efficiency, cooperation, emotional regulations, empathy, responsibility, and age-appropriate independence. Every task is done for a child instead of with a child. This is not the fault of parent and teacher, it's infrastructure. One of the youngest countries in the world, we need children who are not just academic but most emotionally resilient and socially capable and confident to navigate life. Ma'am, the proposal of Article 21 is therefore not just a constitutional step, it's a commitment towards reimaging childhood in India. To make it real, we must strengthen Anganwadi infrastructure, reduce non-core burden on the workers, equip centers to support disability and rare disease, train more special educators. I support this resolution. It's not about the children today alone is about the citizen of tomorrow, I strongly, wholeheartedly support this resolution. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Bande Mataram.
I request all honourable members to kindly maintain decorum while an honourable member is speaking. Next speaker, honourable member Dr. V. Sivadasan.
Respected Madam, here we are discussing very important matter. Sudha Murthy has introduced the private members bill on our childhood education. Madam, in India, thousands of, crores of children are not getting proper pre-school education. Why? Various problems are there, Madam. In education, in pre-education sector, the investment of the nation, investment of the government, that is comparatively very less. In other nations, these developed countries, they are investing huge amount, comparatively better amount in pre-education sector. But in India, our government is not ready to invest proper amount for the children's education. Madam, what is the real issues for getting the education? There, inadequate infrastructure facilities. There, in our pre-education centers, their infrastructure is not there. Where is the infrastructure? Why it is not there? Respected Madam, in pre-schools, majority of the pre-schools centers are working. Majority, that means 95% of preschool centers are working below 1,000 square feet of building. There, Pakka building is not there. There, electricity is not there. Then internet connectivity is not there. Proper water facility is not there. Drainage facility is not there. What is the real reason? The union government should provide proper financial assistance to the state governments. Respected Madam, you see the role of the government, role of the union government. What is their role? They are making some of the schemes, but they are not ready to proper financial assistance to the sector. There. Second one, regarding the faculties in the teachers in the Anganwadis. Anganwadi, that means there, the Anganwadi teacher and helper is there. What amount they are getting as a salary? Here already, John Bittas has mentioned, our minister is here. Now he is discussing the matter with she is not listening my speech. Madam, respected minister is discussing with the other matter. She is not listening our word. That is not good. Now also, she is discussing the other things. Why, Madam? Then why this sitting the minister, not listening to us? Then what is the purpose to sit the minister is here? We are here. We are making very interesting thing. But she is talking to the others. So we are raising the issue of the things. So then our parliamentary minister is trying to protect. Then what is the thing? Madam, I have the right to raise the issue. I requesting the minister to listen us. So the thing is that, yes, I am requesting the chair of the house, not the parliamentary minister. I am requesting the chair of the house. So
kindly speak on the subject, address the chair.
You are trying to disturb my words. So, respected minister, I know earlier already mentioned here, she is very interested to protect the interests of the children. She is interested to invest the money for Anganwadi sector.
Kindly speak on the subject.
But I don't know who is making the blockade in front of her. The thing is that the workers of Anganwadi, the salary, they are not getting proper salary. The government is not ready to treat them as employees. They are getting very low income from the government. The thing is that, they are not, here in India, they are not getting minimum wage. The interesting thing is that these government are making lot of the government is compelled to the Anganwadi teachers to do other works also. So, government should not give other works to the Anganwadi workers. And government should provide proper salary to the Anganwadi workers. There, There in the Anganwadi centers, respected madam, there in the Anganwadi centers, the name Anganwadi, but garden is not there. Where they will make the garden? Because the place of the Anganwadi is only 1,000 square feet or 8,800 square feet or 500 square feet. Then there we will make the garden. Playground is not there. Proper playground for the child, preschool child is very necessary. But their playground is not there. The internet facility is not there. So I am requesting to the government for proper basic infrastructure facilities for the preschool children. Our respected Sudhamurthy ji, she taken very good interest, very good initiative to introduce the bill. I congratulate her. I have a lot of reservations I have, but she have taken very good initiative for introducing this bill in the House. Respected madam, in India, 1948, first Education Commission was formed under the leadership of S. Radhakrishnan. Aim and Radhakrishnan openly declares education for all. Education for all. But after that, what has happened? In Kothari Commission report, Kothari has clearly mentioned the importance of education for all. But in 2000, when the Vajpayee government was here, at that time, one commission was appointed. The commission was appointed not by the Education Department, appointed by the Commerce Ministry. There the commission has suggested education for the free education is not, free education in humanities and other things is not good for the nation like that. The commission has suggested. Madam, we have lot of differences with the view with this existing government, but I believe the future of the nation, the future, the present condition of the nation should be developed. So we need to a proper policy framework for the development. The NEP, National Education Policy, in the National Education, only 1 minute, madam, in the National Education Policy, the suggestions, the cluster centers, and the teachers will be managed by the managers of the cluster, and the lab for cluster centers, not for the schools, and playground for in the cluster centers, not for schools. That concept should be resisted, and that should not be implemented here. If that proposal is implemented, then Kerala, madam, majority of the schools are working with the proper playground and labs. The concept of NEP is totally against the public education system. So the education system, the commercialization, privatization, and communalization, three are the major hurdles for the development of the education. So we should oppose the commercialization, centralization, and privatization of the education sector. Communalization is the most dangerous thing in education sector, madam. So together we will oppose the NEP, and together we will promote the national.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chairman. I support the content of the resolution. And she could have mentioned about some of the former prime ministers, and of course it's a hope against hope case. Madam Vice Chairman, the point is that whether we need a constitutional amendment to the Constitution to achieve these goals. If at all it happens, how we are going to implement the same? Because in the Constitution, there are number of fundamental rights which are getting infringed day by day. There are directive principles of state policy which we did not implement. So I think even though the idea behind this resolution is acceptable, what is the way out? This we need to discuss. As far as our Anganwadis are concerned, Madam Vice Chairman, on 22nd March 2023, question number 230, the answer was around 1.4 million Anganwadis we have. And only 2 lakhs are having government buildings. And they say there is a scheme which is slowly getting implemented. Leave that part. The thing is that Anganwadi workers are doing 6 important jobs. There's a mandate for that. Number 1, supplementary nutrition. Number 2, preschool non-formal education. Number 3, nutrition and healthcare, immunization, health checkup, and referral services. The point is that when do we need to redefine this? Because documents, it is AWW, Anganwadi workers. So we have to redefine the term, I think. To impart education, that worker, of course, that term must be redefined, and teachers or something, it should find a place in the official document. That's my take. Because all these duties cannot be mixed up, and this cannot be entrusted to 1 or 2 persons. We have more than 14 lakh Anganwadis, which are having a lot of issues. That's already mentioned by Shivadasan and others. Many drawbacks are there. No toilets, drinking water facilities are okay. But at least this term to be defined, and they should be elevated to the status of teachers. And then we need to train them. And what should be the content of the train? That is the most important. Number 1, this scientific temper, that mindset must be developed from the very beginning. Because catch them young is the policy of all fascist ideology organizations and almost all organizations. Then we have to imbibe them. What is science? How society is moving? What is humankind? There is no point in division and all these kind of caste, creed, and religion. Anyway, so that scientific temper oriented, this syllabus must be there, and enrollment must be strengthened. Thousands of children are not getting chances to go there. School dropout is very high. During these 10 years, 14,000 schools were closed according to the government status. So we need to strengthen the enrollment in these Anganwadis. Then proper scientific training to the teachers also. Finally, the use of mobile phones. Even children are getting addicted to mobile phones. During our time, it was grandmother's stories. But instead of grandmother's stories, now it is mobile phone, which is the guiding factor, controlling factor. So how to use this social media may be a big term, but mobile phone addiction, even among small children. So this ought to be taken care very seriously. So buildings, wages, this syllabus, if we can correct all these things, then we can develop our Anganwadis, and that will be a big contribution in strengthening the pre-primary education in our country. And I hope the government will take care of all these things. The plight of Anganwadi helpers and workers are very miserable in most of the states. Gujarat High Court recently observed that they should get a decent minimum living wage. But that mandate is was not implemented in many states. Kerala, of course, we have appointed a commission to look into these matters, and that commission will submit its report soon. I hope the government of India, the minister concerned, will take care of all these points, and to strengthen our Anganwadis.
It's 4:30 now. We'll take up special mention.
Thank you.
Shri Ashok Rao Shankar Rao Chavan. Special mention.
मैडम अभी टाइम लिमिट है, कोई बात नहीं, ठीक है, क्या बताएं?
ओके मैम। श्री सुजीत कुमार।
मैम थैंक यू। सबसे पहले मैम मैं मैडम सुधा मूर्ति जी को धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा कि इतने महत्वपूर्ण विषय को उन्होंने प्राइवेट मेंबर रेजोल्यूशन के तहत उन्होंने उठाए, और मैं आज भारत के महान जननायक जननेता स्वर्गीय अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी को आज नमन करना चाहूँगा। ये साल हम लोग वाजपेयी जी का जन्म शताब्दी मना रहे हैं। मैं आज ये प्राइवेट मेंबर रेजोल्यूशन के चर्चा पे मैं अटल जी को क्यों स्मरण कर रहा हूँ मैम, बिकॉज मैम ही हैड द विजन, ही हैड द स्टेटमेंट्स लाइक क्वालिटी टू enact the RTE Act. What is popularly known as the RTE Act, it's actually the 86th Constitutional Amendment Act in 2002, which actually laid the foundation for primary education in our country.
Now we'll take up special mention.
Ma'am, 5 more minutes, ma'am. Please, 5 more minutes.
Take up special mention. Shri Ashok Rao Shankar Rao Chavan. Demand for a direct new rail line from Nanded to Latur.
Not present, ma'am. Shri Ram.
Not present. Shri Ramji.
Not present.
Not present. Srimati Mahua Maji.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chairman, sir. Madam, my subject is concern over overworking and rights of the employee in the corporate sector. हम ऐसे समय में हैं जब पेशेवर सफलता अक्सर व्यक्तिगत स्वास्थ्य, मानसिक संतुलन और सामाजिक जीवन की कीमत पर मिलती है। भारत के दफ्तरों, को वर्किंग स्पेस और डिजिटल कार्यस्थलों में करोड़ों कर्मचारी लगातार बढ़ते लक्ष्यों, प्रमोशन की दौड़ और दफ्तर समय के बाद भी ऑनलाइन बने रहने की अनिवार्यता के दबाव में काम कर रहे हैं। यह स्थिति अब अपवाद नहीं बल्कि सामान्य जीवन शैली बन चुकी है। पिछले वर्षों में कई प्रतिभाशाली युवाओं ने इस अतिश्रम और बर्नआउट के कारण मानसिक व भावनात्मक लड़ाइयों में हार भी झेली है। कॉरपोरेट क्षेत्र में हालात और गंभीर हैं। अधिकतर नियुक्ति पत्र केवल न्यूनतम कार्य घंटों का उल्लेख करते हैं, अधिकतम का नहीं। कर्मचारियों से तय समय से कहीं अधिक काम लिया जाता है, बिना ओवरटाइम वेतन, बिना अवकाश क्षतिपूर्ति और कई बार छुट्टियां तथा वीकेंड भी काम में जोड़ दिए जाते हैं। यूरोपीय देशों में श्रम विभाग निजी कंपनियों पर सख्त निगरानी रखता है और अतिरिक्त काम को अनुबंध का उल्लंघन माना जाता है। इसके विपरीत भारत में खासकर उच्च वेतन वर्ग के कर्मचारियों को न्यूनतम सुरक्षा भी प्राप्त नहीं होती। मांग आपूर्ति के असंतुलन ने स्थिति को और बिगाड़ा है। सीमित अवसरों के कारण एक कर्मचारी से 2-3 लोगों का काम करवाया जाता है, जिससे थकान, अनिद्रा, मानसिक तनाव, पारिवारिक समस्याएं और आत्महत्या जैसे गंभीर परिणाम सामने आते हैं। मैं सरकार से आग्रह करती हूं कि स्पष्ट कार्य घंटे, ओवरटाइम भुगतान, छुट्टियों की सुरक्षा और मानसिक स्वास्थ्य संरक्षण जैसे प्रावधानों पर तत्काल कदम उठाए जाएं ताकि काम उद्देश्य दे, अत्यधिक दबाव नहीं। धन्यवाद।
Shri R. Girirajan.
Thank you, Madam. Demand for mandatory provisions for differently abled persons to be elected as nominated members in local governance. Madam, the Persons with Disabilities, Equal Opportunities, Protection of Rights and Full Participation Act 1995 and the Right to Persons with Disabilities Act 2016 are key legislative frameworks that aim to ensure equality, inclusion and dignity for individuals with disabilities. Madam, these acts promote the rights and opportunities of persons with disabilities, including the provision of aids and appliances, access to education, employment, healthcare services, and social integration. This will be possible only when the differently abled people have adequate representation in local bodies too. Tamil Nadu government has made significant strides in nominating persons with disabilities to local bodies, with a total number of 3,631 persons with disabilities already nominated to urban and rural local bodies. This number is expected to grow. Madam, with the government planning to nominate an additional 12,000 persons with disabilities in rural local bodies after the completion of the election to 28 village panchayats, the initiative is part of the government's broader commitment to social justice and representation for differently abled individuals in local governance. The government of Tamil Nadu Gazette Extraordinary published on June 26, 2025 introduces the Tamil Nadu Panchayats nomination of persons with a disability as Disability Rules 2025, aimed at facilitating the nomination of persons with disabilities as members of Panchayats. Nominated members will have rights and responsibilities as per the Government of Tamil Nadu Panchayat Act and will be entitled to honorarium and allowances as determined by the government. This should be followed nationwide. Therefore, I urge the government to make mandatory provisions for differently abled persons to be elected as nominated members in local governance throughout India. Thank you.
Shri Sujit Kumar.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to draw the attention of the government through the special mention to the issue of reliance on non-indigenous goods in our official internal consumption. This is a matter vital to the broader national vision of promoting Swadeshi and strengthening India's path towards self-reliance. India is a powerhouse of high-quality indigenous products, from textiles and handicrafts to countless agricultural goods. A prime example is our world-class GI-tagged, PO-sourced and tribal-grown coffee, such as the unique varieties grown in Koraput, Odisha, called the Koraput coffee. These products are celebrated globally for their quality. Yet, in our government canteens, including in the parliament, in our railway networks, and in our public offices, we often serve consumables, be it coffee, tea, biscuits, or handicrafts and handlooms from foreign sources or of non-descriptive origin. Ma'am, to replace this is the obvious next rung in the ladder of Swadeshi. The tribal farmers of Koraput work in difficult conditions to produce a globally acclaimed product, but lack the large-scale, stable market that the Government of India itself can provide. Ma'am, I demand that the government issue a procurement directive to replace all such foreign origin goods with indigenous Indian products. Let the government be the proudest patron of our tribal producers. By institutionalizing this change, we ensure that the true flavor of Atmanirbhar Bharat becomes a daily practice in our office of this republic. Jai Hind.
Srimati Rajati.
Respected Madam, demand for comprehensive reforms in juvenile homes under the Juvenile Justice Act. I draw attention of the government over alarming conditions in the juvenile homes where there is inadequate monitoring, nutrition, education and safety that continue to expose children to severe vulnerabilities. This is evident from repeated news on children being beaten in these institutes and severe overcrowding. Juvenile homes are governed by their